A very good afternoon to all the students of intermediate course. Welcome to this session for Paper 3B Goods and Services Tax. I am CA Shafali Jain and I am a faculty for indirect taxes at Board of Studies, and I will be taking your session on the topic time of supply. Today's second session of this topic. We had our last class on last Thursday, that is 17th of April, and where we discussed the time of supply of goods under forward charge. Today we will be discussing the other provisions relating to time of supply of goods. Now, before we start the session, I want all of you to know about a webinar which is going to be held on 25th of April. That means on this coming Friday, where ICAI leadership will address your queries regarding the examination. We all face anxiety, fear. We have some queries regarding examination. So ICAI leadership will be there for you to address those queries. And always know, we want all of you to know that Board of Studies is always there with you in every step of your journey of the Chartered Accountancy course. So be there, watch this session, and ask your queries from the ICAI leadership themselves, and you will be well prepared for the forthcoming examination. Now, yes, it is for the exam. The main focus is examination, May, September, all examination. So all of you should join this session. So we will be playing the video now. So mark the link which is there for joining the session. We'll be playing this video during the session also, so that you can mark the link. You can note down the link at which you have to join. So be prepared for Charcha ka Vishay CA Pariksha. Let's talk the CA exam. So this is pre-exam session which is going to be held for making you fully prepared for filling the gaps which you have in your preparation, or which you want to, the queries, the last minute queries which you want to ask. You have some anxiety before the exam, the fear which we have before facing the exam. So it will boost your confidence for the forthcoming exam. All the students who are there, who are enrolled in the Chartered Accountancy course, it is for you, and you should definitely watch this session. You should definitely ask your doubts or your queries regarding the examination, your anxiety which you are having before the examination. So this is a very positive initiative which has been there or by the Board of Studies and ICAI leadership. So you all should make best of it. Now we'll start with our session on time of supply. In fact, before starting the session, let me tell you what we are going to discuss in this session today. First of all, we'll be revising the concepts which we had done in the last class, because some students were not there in the last class. So they can also understand, who are there with us today. So they will also be with us while solving the doubts, questions, while practicing the problems. So we will be discussing the concepts done in the last class. Then we will be discussing time of supply provisions under section 12, because we had done only a part of section 12 in the last class. Today we will be discussing rest of section 12 provisions. After completing this particular section 12, we will be having a GST Titan quiz, where we will be assessing the students based on the provisions of section 12. So whatever you have gained during the class, that will be tested in the GST Titan quiz. You will be having educate practice during the session itself of section 12, various provisions of section 12. So I'm very sure today, after going through the class, you will be well prepared for the GST Titan quiz, and I expect all of you to answer all the questions correctly today, because we will be discussing everything which is relating to the questions to be asked in GST Titan quiz. So everything we'll be having sufficient practice during the class of the provisions of time of supply of goods. and we'll try to memorize the concepts during the session itself, so that when you see the quiz, you know all the provisions and you do not need to refer any material. You can prepare your notes in between if you feel, but I would suggest answer the questions on your own. So let us see if anybody, and I will be giving the link during the before the break. When we will go for break in the session, I will give you the link which you have to join through a separate device for GST Titan quiz. So make sure that you have a separate device through which you join that link on which you will be able to play the quiz. Okay, Prakash is saying I'm excited for the quiz. Good to know that, Prakash, that you are excited for the quiz. But first of all, let us see the topic and let us see the concepts of the session. So first of all, we'll revise the concepts which we have done in the last class, and we'll try to memorize everything during the class itself. Just a minute. So time of supply is a very, very important topic which we would be discussing today. In the last class, we started with the cycle of GST, if you remember, that how the GST concept start with a business undertaking a transaction. Okay, when a person or when a business undertakes any activity, or not even a business, I would say, when a person undertakes an activity or a transaction, the cycle of GST starts from that moment itself. Now we have to note down at each step whether we can move forward or we should not move forward. That is the point. So first of all, we'll see whether the activity or transaction undertaken by that person amounts to supply or not, as per the provisions of Section 7, read with three schedules of CGST Act. Now, if within that framework it qualifies as supply, then we will move to the next step. Now, what is the next step? That is the charge of GST. That means whether this particular supply qualifies as a taxable, qualifies or is leviable to GST. This supply is leviable to GST or not will be guided by the charging sections, Section 9 of the CGST Act 2017 and Section 5 of IGST Act 2017. So in either of these sections, your supply will fall. And you have to see whether this supply, because if it is the supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption, or it is a petroleum product, or undenatured extra neutral alcohol, or rectified spirit, which is used for human consumption, then it will not be leviable to GST. So we have to see whether our supply qualifies or is leviable to GST. Next step will be place of supply. Now, place of supply will help us in determining the nature of supply. That is whether it is an intrastate supply or intrastate supply by determining the place of supply. Now, when we determine the place of supply, we get to know the nature of supply. After knowing that this transaction is inter or intrastate supply, the next step will be to ascertain whether that particular supply is exempt under GST or not. Now, for exemption, we have two separate lists. One list is applicable for intrastate supply and another list is applicable for interstate supply. So we know the nature of transaction now. So we will see the list of exemption, and we will find out whether our goods or services fall in that particular list. So we have separate list for goods, separate list for services, and separate for inter and intrastate. So we'll see the concerned relevant list. We'll find out that whether our product or our good or service is falling within that list, then we'll not move forward. Otherwise, we'll move to the next step, and that is the time of supply. We will determine that at what point of time our obligation to pay GST arises, because we know that our supply is not exempt from GST. That means we have to pay GST on it. हमें उस पे GST पे करना ही करना है. अब GST पे करना है तो ये पता होना चाहिए कब करना है, ताकि कोई इंटरेस्ट पेनल्टी ऑब्लिगेशन ना अराइज हो. उसके लिए आपकी हेल्प कौन करेगा? टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. तो इस स्टेज पर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई प्रोविजंस पिक्चर में आते हैं और यही इनकी इंपॉर्टेंस है. दैट इज वाई दिस साइकिल इज सो इम्पॉर्टेंट, कि यहां से आपको पता चलता है कि टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई नहीं होगा तो यही नहीं पता चलेगा कब टैक्स पे करना है. जबकि लेकिन ये नहीं है कि अगर आपका टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई किसी पर्टिकुलर मंथ में फॉल कर रहा है तो इट डज नॉट implicit or it is not apparent that in that month itself you have to pay tax. No, टैक्स पेमेंट डेट कैन बी अ सब्सिक्वेंट डेट, टैक्स किसी सब्सिक्वेंट डेट पे पे करना हो सकता है, लेकिन आपको टैक्स की ऑब्लिगेशन अराइज हो जाएगी कि यस अब आपकी लाइबिलिटी फिक्स हो गई कि जीएसटी तो पे करना ही करना है। तो वो इवेंट हमने लास्ट क्लास में देखा था, वो सब चीजें हमने बहुत अच्छे से कर ली थी। वील जस्ट रिवाइज देम क्विकली, देन विल मूव फर्दर। और लास्ट आपका स्टेप था वैल्यू ऑफ सप्लाई, कि जब आपको पता चल गया कि अब टैक्स पे करना है, उसके बाद हमने देखा कि किस वैल्यू के ऊपर टैक्स पे करना है और किस रेट पे करना है, ताकि जीएसटी लाइबिलिटी आप डिटरमिन कर सको और पे कर सको। सो वील मूव फर्दर। What is time of supply? Time of supply is point when liability to pay GST arises. Then we saw various elements of supply. हमने देखा कि अगर different elements of supply they are falling in different months, then it can change the time of supply. तो इसीलिए ये बहुत जरूरी है कि हमें पता हो इतने सारे इवेंट्स में से वो कौन सा इवेंट है जिसके बेसिस पे हम टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई डिटरमिन करेंगे, या जिस इवेंट को हम बोलेंगे कि इस इवेंट के बाद हमारी लाइबिलिटी टू पे जीएसटी हैज बीन फिक्स्ड और लाइबिलिटी टू पे जीएसटी हैज ट्रिगर्ड। इस इवेंट के बाद अब लाइबिलिटी ट्रिगर हो गई, अब तो जीएसटी पे करना ही करना है। सो द इवेंट विच ट्रिगर्स द लाइबिलिटी टू पे जीएसटी इज टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. Why we have separate and elaborate provisions for time of supply? Because we have so many elements of supply. You can see on the screen we have almost 7 elements of supply. तो इसमें से कोई ना कोई इवेंट होगा एक जो कि टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई को ट्रिगर करता है। अब हाँ, शुभांशी इज आस्किंग, आज जीएसटी क्विज है, जीएसटी क्विज है शुभांशी, एट द एंड ऑफ द सेशन जीएसटी क्विज है। उसके लिए सारा सेशन बहुत ध्यान से सुनना है, यू हैव टू बी अटेंटिव. Tej Prakash is saying in my BOS portal, my correct name is not showing. Okay. Tej, you have to send a query at BOS Noida for this. And if in the meantime we are able to find the resolution to your query, we'll let you know. So these are the events which are relevant. Now, can any of you tell in the chat box before going further, when we have to determine time of supply of goods under forward charge, which is the event out of all these elements, which is the element that is relevant? I want answers from all of you in the chat box. And I want correct answers. It is the normal case. In the normal case, I'm asking you, it's not a composition dealer. It is not a supply of specified actionable claims. This much hint I have given to you. टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स अंडर फॉरवर्ड चार्ज क्या होगा? इन सारे एलिमेंट्स में से कौन सा वो एलिमेंट है जो ट्रिगर करता है? ओके मिलन, by mistake you had written the wrong answer, but I am happy that you wrote it correct. Then so Prakash, you are right. Ishan, right. Ritika, you are also right. Prem has given all the elements. So Prem, out of which which element is actually triggering the payment of tax or the time of supply? Priyanshi is right. So Dhanush, you're right. Meera, Rajveer, Harsh, Soumya, Miss P, Vishal, Shalini, Kirti, Divya, Prem again, Bunnypreet, Astha, and then Soumya again. Okay, so I'm happy all of you have answered correctly. सबने बिल्कुल सही correct answer दिया है. But delivery triggers obligation. Priyanshi is saying delivery triggers obligation. Definitely. When you are actually, in certain cases, delivery will trigger the obligation, where where the last date for issuance of invoice is delivery of goods or to make the goods available. So this is actually the event, and this will also be responsible to some extent, because ये भी इनवॉइस के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल है। अगर आपने जिस दिन गुड्स रिमूव करे हैं, in certain cases delivery also, where you have to make available goods. This we will see also, and all of you had seen in the last class. So these are the 3 events out of which or around which our time of supply under goods for forward charge will revolve, जिसका बेसिक अगर आप एक वर्ड में समझना चाहो तो इनवॉइस है। इनवॉइस के ही चारों तरफ हमारा टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई फॉरवर्ड चार्ज में मूव करता है. So out of which of these events GST becomes payable or time of supply is triggered? So that we will see. Time of supply of goods under section 12. that we saw that there are different situations. In last session, we had done this case. We had covered this first part. Okay, today we'll be covering all five. We'll be practicing enough questions. After the session, you will be able to say that yes, time of supply मुझे अच्छे से समझ आ गया. I can solve any question based on time of supply. That much I can assure you. So first we had done, first situation we had covered, time of supply under forward charge for the purpose of payment of tax. Last time we moved step by step, we saw all the sections, provisions. Today, because we are covering only the uh, provision or summary of the last class, so I will straight away come to the provision. Time of supply under forward charge for the purpose of payment of tax under section 12 plus notification number 66 by 2017 is earlier of these two events. That is date of issue of invoice or last date on which invoice ought to have been issued. तो अब आपको जब टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स अंडर फॉरवर्ड चार्ज कोई पूछेगा तो आपको कुछ नहीं सोचना. कॉम्पोजिशन सप्लायर और स्पेसिफिक एक्शनेबल क्लेम्स के बारे में बाद में सोचना है. सबसे पहले आपका आंसर यही होना चाहिए, इनवॉइस या लास्ट डेट फॉर इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस, सिंपल वे में. एंड विच एवर इज अर्लियर, इन दोनों में से जो भी पहले फॉल करेगा दैट विल बी योर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. we'll try to cover some of the points for memorization also. जैसे मैंने बोला, it depends आपको जो कुछ certain memory techniques which I could find or I felt that that can help you, I had shared, I will be sharing with you. But उस basis पे आप अपनी भी कुछ memory की techniques बना सकते हैं. And I think if you frame any of such memory techniques, share it in the group so that others can be benefited with that. So keywords which have to be memorized in section 12, subsection 2 or time of supply for forward charge which we are discussing is invoice and last date of invoice. ये आपके माइंड में एकदम इम्प्रिंट हो जानी चाहिए. कोई क्वेश्चन में कुछ भी इंफॉर्मेशन दी हुई है, आपको इन दो चीजों को पकड़ के रखना है. आपका टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई इन दो चीजों से, इन दो इवेंट्स से, इस इन विद दिस इंफॉर्मेशन यू विल बी एबल टू डिटरमिन द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. So mnemonics for time of supply under goods under forward charge is, which I had framed as, first is date of invoice and last date of invoice. So for this, do it, let's do it. Is if this is the way you can remember it, or if you find it easy to remember those keywords, invoice or last date of invoice. To remember these two keywords, you can use this. So this is the acronym. And for making this, I have made a statement so that if you remember this statement, you can remember the events relevant for time of supply under forward charge. That is, do it or let's do it. Okay. If it helps you, you can let me know that yes, it helps you in retaining the provision. In the chat box, you can write. I will be sharing more of such mnemonics with you during the session. Now comes the time limit for issuance of invoice for supply of goods under section 31. Now we had said, okay, so you are writing it that it helps you. Milan, Miss P, Soumya. So I found that yes, you are finding it useful. So I can share more of them. And you, if you find something or you are able to make something, share it in the group or share it in the chat box. If you are able to make some of them right now, then others can also be benefited. And we all will ponder upon them that what can be the best way to memorize a particular concept. Because in the examination, we not only have to have the knowledge of the provision, we have also to apply it. We need to apply it in the situation given in the examination. For that particular purpose, provision should be memorized by you, provision should be retained by you in the exam. So now we said last date for issuance of invoice. Date of invoice is very clear, very simple. Actual date of invoice will be given to you and you can determine the time of supply. That is very easy. वो बहुत simple है. Date of invoice निकाली और आपको मिल गया. लेकिन last date for issuance of invoice आपको determine करनी पड़ेगी question में से. For that we have two cases. First is when supply involve movement of goods. अब यहाँ पे important point क्या था कि ये movement रेसिपिएंट की वजह से भी हो सकती है, सप्लायर की वजह से भी हो सकती है. उसके एग्जांपल मैं आपको फटाफट शेयर करती हूँ. In case of supplier, I have sold, Mr. A is the supplier. He has sold goods to Mr. B. Mr. A is in Delhi. Mr. B is in Kolkata. And Mr. A has agreed to deliver the goods in Kolkata from his Delhi warehouse. So now goods are moving from Delhi to Kolkata. Okay. So quickly tell me in chat. Okay. Am I audible now? Okay. So when the supply involves movement of goods, in that case, now this is one case where supplier is causing the movement of goods. Supplier ने movement of goods किया, Delhi warehouse से कोलकाता में उसने goods भिजवाए, movement of goods is there. So the last date for issuance of invoice in this case will be date of removal of goods, or before removal of goods invoice should be issued. तो जिस दिन आपने goods remove करे हैं उस date तक आपकी invoice issue हो जानी चाहिए, either before or at the time of removal of goods. दूसरा example where recipient is causing movement of goods. Now that example is Mr. A is in Delhi. Mr. B of Kolkata comes to Delhi and he says, give me 100 kg of this particular product A, and hand it over to me, and I would be arranging my own transport and I will be taking it to Kolkata. So Mr. A, that is an ex-factory sale. So on the factory gate, Mr. A hands over the goods to Mr. B and he says, now I have nothing to do with these goods. You transport them, insurance, everything is yours. I do not have any responsibility. So in that case also, this provision will apply because movement of goods is there. Goods are moving from Delhi to Kolkata ईदर बाय रिसिपिएंट और बाय सप्लायर, क्योंकि कभी कभी बच्चे यही गलती करते हैं कि जब रिसिपिएंट गुड्स को मूव कर रहा होता है तो वी एज्यूम कि यहाँ पे मूवमेंट ऑफ गुड्स नहीं है सेल के टाइम पे. ऐसा नहीं कहा गया कि सप्लाई मूवमेंट ऑफ गुड्स शुड बी एट द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. नो, मूवमेंट ऑफ गुड्स होना चाहिए, चाहे सप्लाई जब ट्रांजेक्शन कंप्लीट हो गई है उसके बाद अगर आप अपने गुड्स को लेके जा रहे हो एज अ रिसिपिएंट, दैट मीन्स मूवमेंट ऑफ गुड्स है एंड दिस पर्टिकुलर प्रोविजन विल अप्लाई. सेकेंड केस था जहां पर गुड्स की मूवमेंट नहीं हो रही, उसके लिए भी हमने दो एग्जांपल्स करे थे. फर्स्ट एग्जांपल वाज a machinery is being installed at the site, or you can take another example, a lift is being assembled at the site and then it is made operational and handed over, or you can say it is being delivered to the recipient. तो वहां पर जब गुड्स वो बन गए, जब मशीनरी बन के तैयार हो गई, when machinery is assembled and it is finished, it is ready to deliver, it did not move from its location. So there is no movement of goods involved. Second case, I have purchased an office building, I have purchased a school building, and all the furniture, fixtures, computers which are there in the office building or school building are intact. And I said I will be purchasing along with along with whatever is there in this building, whatever furniture, fixtures, computers, everything I would be taking as such. So sale of building is not under GST. Again, I am repeating because in last class also some students got confused. But the furniture and fixtures which you are removing, which you are or you can the ownership of which is being received by the recipient, that becomes a supply. And in this case also you can see that the goods are not moving anywhere. वो फर्नीचर, फिक्सचर्स, कंप्यूटर्स सब वहीं रखे हैं, वहीं पे ही रहे, सिर्फ बायर से रिसिपिएंट के पास ओनरशिप ट्रांसफर हो गई. और उसके बाद उसके अंदर आपको टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई डिटरमिन करने के लिए आपकी इनवॉइस उस दिन जिस दिन आपको वो अवेलेबल करा दिया गया, द डेट ऑन विच द गुड्स वर मेड अवेलेबल, गुड्स वर डिलीवर्ड, दैट वुड बी द date on which invoice should be issued. Okay. Now, after that, after doing these provisions under forward charge, I will once again request all of you to tell me what is forward charge and reverse charge, because it just strike me that sometimes the students get confused in forward charge and reverse charge itself. So we are postponing this question for the time being. But after completing forward charge, I would request you what is reverse charge to tell me. So now next comes, so this is in the normal case how last date for issuance of invoice is determined. Then time limit for issuance of invoice in case of continuous supply of goods. Continuous supply of goods क्या होता है, हमने किया था जहां पर continuously recurring supply of goods or services, sorry, not services, because right now we are dealing only with goods. Recurring supply of goods is there under a contract for a where the invoice has to basis. Okay, so I have started getting answers for FCM and RCM. Good. Because when you are doing the time of supply for FCM, so you should know that what is FCM and what is RCM. Forward charge क्या है, reverse charge क्या है. Continuous supply of goods में जो goods आप continuous recurring basis पे supply करते रहते हो वो होता है continuous supply of goods. Certain examples of continuous supply of goods quickly I want in the chat box from all of you. Few examples we did last time also. और उसका जो लास्ट डेट फॉर इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस है वो यहाँ पर दिया हुआ है, जो कि इन दोनों इवेंट्स में जो भी पहले होगा दैट वुड बी दी टाइम, दैट वुड बी द लास्ट डेट फॉर इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस इन केस ऑफ कॉन्टिन्यूअस सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स. लेट मी सी द आंसर. Tej Prakash saying newspaper, gas supply. Tanu is saying gas supply. Anubhav is saying gas supply. So that was the example which I took. And other examples you had given me. I had got lot many examples last time. In fact, gas was the most common example which we discussed because there we, that is something which we can think of as we see in our families that yes, through pipelines we are getting the gas, and that is being provided on a recurrent basis, on a regular basis. But we had other examples also, newspaper delivery. So if we on monthly basis we get we pay newspaper person. So for the entire month, newspaper is being delivered to us. Milk supply is one of the examples which we got, and water supply, definitely Rajveer, this is an example. Then Tanu is also giving the example of water supply. Most of you are giving the example of gas supply because sometimes you correlate with a particular supply. So gas supply एक ऐसा होगा जिसको हम जब भी हम continuous supply of goods सोचते हैं तो हम उससे हमारा we correlate with that particular thing कि gas supply continuous supply of goods है. Similarly is water supply, electricity supply. Yes. So Astha is saying water supply, Banipreet again gas supply, Kirti, Anubhav, Soumya, ईशान, ऑल ऑफ यू आर राइट. पेट्रोल भी पाइपलाइन से सप्लाई होता है, बिल्कुल ठीक है. एग्जाम्पल ईशान, यू हैव गिवन द राइट एग्जाम्पल. इंडस्ट्रीज में पेट्रोल, ऑयल, इट गेट्स सप्लाइड थ्रू पाइपलाइंस फॉर प्रोडक्शन पर्पसेस. इलेक्ट्रिसिटी सप्लाई बाय सौम्या, सुनील. मिल्क सप्लाई एग्जाम्पल गिवन बाय तनु. मोबाइल रिचार्ज इज अ सर्विस. एक्चुअली मोबाइल भी, अगर आप मोबाइल टेलीकम्युनिकेशन सर्विसेज इज अ कॉन्टिन्यूस सप्लाई, बट इट इज अ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विसेज. इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पे सर्विस टैक्स नहीं, सर्विस जीएसटी नहीं है अनुभव, यू आर राइट. बट ये एग्जाम्पल तो है कॉन्टिन्यूस सप्लाई का. तो अगर कॉन्टिन्यूस सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स है, जैसे कि मैंने यहाँ पे वाटर का एग्जाम्पल लिया, बट हाँ वाटर पे जीएसटी है नहीं, वो बात अलग है. बट ये बात है कि अगर आपका कभी कॉन्टिन्यूस सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स हो रहा है तो उस केस में आपका इनवॉइस कब तक इशू हो जानी चाहिए? उस केस में इनवॉइस शुड बी इशूड बाय ईदर सक्सेसिव स्टेटमेंट बिफोर और एट द टाइम ऑफ इशुएंस ऑफ सक्सेसिव स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अकाउंट्स or receipt of successive payments, whichever is earlier. So you will be receiving, if you receive the statement of accounts at a regular interval and you receive the payments also, because continuous supply mein this is the feature that you will be making at payment at the regular intervals. Supply will be issuing invoice and the statement of accounts will also be issued. Now we are giving this one example of statement of accounts. ओपनिंग बैलेंस क्या है, क्या पेमेंट रिसीव हुई है, क्या उसमें हमारा पेमेंट हो चुका है, एट द एंड कितना अमाउंट पेएबल है, दैट वी डिटरमिन फ्रॉम द स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अकाउंट्स. एंड इफ ईदर द स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अकाउंट्स और रिसीट ऑफ पेमेंट, सक्सेसिव पेमेंट्स जो हमने करनी होती है, बिकॉज कॉन्टिन्यूस सप्लाई है तो रेगुलर बेसिस पे स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अकाउंट्स भी जनरेट होगा और पेमेंट भी रिसीव होगी रेगुलर इंटरवल्स पे. दैट विल बिकम द डेट ऑन विच इनवॉइस शुड हैव बीन इशूड. ओके. Third case was the issuance of invoice in case of goods sent for on taken on approval for sale or return. कभी कभी हम गुड्स भेज देते हैं अपने रिसिपिएंट के पास, हमें पता नहीं होता कि वो उन गुड्स को एक्सेप्ट करेगा भी या नहीं करेगा. तो जब हमने रिमूव किया उस टाइम पर हम उसको सप्लाई ट्रांजेक्शन नहीं कह सकते और इसीलिए उस टाइम पे इनवॉइस इशू करने की कोई ऑब्लिगेशन भी नहीं होनी चाहिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, एक पेंटर ने आर्ट गैलरी में अपनी पेंटिंग्स भेज दी हैं. अ पेंटर हैज सेंड दी पेंटिंग्स for exhibition in an art gallery. Now, the moment these paintings were removed from his studio or whatever he has place to store them, that removal will not amount to sale or supply per se, because he doesn't know whether anybody will purchase them or not. So, okay, no GST for artwork, that we have to see, Rajveer. But supply per se, if I have to see whether it is a supply or not, so for that I have to wait for somebody to agree to that particular transaction, that yes, I will purchase these paintings, and that event will occur at a later point of time. But GST law has set an outer deadline of 6 months. तो GST law कहता है या तो आप 6 महीने से पहले पहले अपनी सप्लाई ट्रांजेक्शन फ्रक्टिफाई कर लो, either supply fructifies before 6 months or after the lapse of 6 months we'll assume के बाद हमें जीएसटी तो लेते देना. सो दे वांट देयर टैक्स आफ्टर 6 मंथ्स. अगर आप अपने गुड्स वापस नहीं मंगवाते हो 6 महीने तक, तो उसके बाद 6 महीने के खत्म होने के बाद आपको इनवॉइस इशू करनी है और आपको उसी दिन टैक्स भी आपका tax will become payable, or point of the time of supply will arise on the lapse of 6 months, or in case sale fructifies before that period of time, then the date on which supply or sale takes place. Saris given on approval can also be an example, Prakash. Apni saris di, big designers, they give clothes for trying to the celebrities. So that is also sale on approval. The dresses have moved from their warehouses to the particular persons who are going to take them. But till that time, sale has not fructified or supply has not taken place. What will happen once it is approved that yes, this is the thing I wanted? Jewelry also is an example. Jewelry में भी इसी तरह से होता है कि आपने jewelry you have sent it to someone, and then when the designs are approved, then sale transaction fructifies and invoice obligation arises. After that, the time of supply will arise. So whichever is earlier out of these two will be your last date on which invoice should have been issued. There were two exceptions to notification 66 by 2017. We did that: composition scheme and supply of specified actionable claims. Now my screen is visible to you. I have moved to previous screen. Quickly tell me in the chat box, what are the specified actionable claims which are leviable to GST? Specified actionable claims leviable to GST. Quickly tell me in the chat box. Okay, I'm getting responses from ECPL portal also. Palak and Rekha, I can see your responses, and your responses are right. I know at what time you had sent these responses. Okay, I have started getting answers. Specified actionable claims as per schedule, which are supply as per schedule 3. So Bunny Preet is saying gambling. Astha has mentioned all. Astha, you have mentioned 5. So what is the 6th one? Then Anubhav, alcohol is not an actionable claim. It is not subject to GST per se. In the definition of GST, which is given in the Constitution, alcohol is not there. So alcoholic liquor for human consumption is outside the purview, outside the definition of GST itself. Petroleum products are leviable to within the purview of GST, but GST has not yet been levied on them. So GST can be levied from a date which would be notified at any point of time. Then we have other answers. So all of you are providing answers. Ishan, you have provided all 6. Prakash, you are also right. Then, yes, Ishan has given Rajveer. No, that is right. Almas, Soumya, Sunil, Sabha, Tanu, Prem, Soumya again. Then Milan. Yes, you all are right, in fact. Rajveer. Okay, he made an acronym for actionable claim. So this acronym I will share in the group, because today we are working on acronyms. So let us see. Okay, let me tell you. So I've shared with all of you the acronym for specified claims, which one of our students have shared. I will be sharing it on the screen also. Any of you who can frame some other acronym or some statement with this so as to remember this particular acronym? This is the acronym which he has mentioned. So C stands for casino, H stands for horse racing, online money gaming, lottery, gambling, and betting. These are the specified actionable claims. Now, supply of these specified actionable claims, then in that case, this invoice or date of invoice will not only be, or time of supply will not only be restricted to these two elements. We have other elements also in picture. Okay, let us see what are those elements. These are date of issue of invoice or last date of issue of invoice, whichever is earlier, that we know. Till now we had memorized it properly. The second event which will also be attracted here is date of receiving the payment by the supplier, whichever is earlier. And in fact, in the last class, we had seen what is date of receiving payment. Date of receiving payment is date of credit in supplier's bank account, or date on which payment is entered in the bank account of the, entered in the books of accounts of the supplier. तो जिस दिन या तो सप्लायर का बैंक अकाउंट क्रेडिट हो गया, उसके अकाउंट में पैसे आ गए, वो डेट ऑफ रिसीट ऑफ पेमेंट होगी उसके लिए, या फिर जिस दिन उसने अपने अकाउंट में एंट्री कर दी. सपोज उसे चेक मिला, उसने अपने पास चेक रख लिया, एंट्री कर हमारे लिए डेट ऑफ रिसीट ऑफ पेमेंट हो जाएगी, क्योंकि आपने अपनी बुक्स में एंट्री कुछ सोच के ही करी होगी कि पेमेंट आ जाएगी, इसीलिए डेट ऑफ रिसीट ऑफ पेमेंट इन दोनों में से कोई भी जो इवेंट पहले होगा। लेकिन ये सब चीजें सिर्फ इन्हीं दो चीजों के लिए, इन्हीं दो केसेस में याद रखनी है, कॉम्पोजिशन सप्लायर और सप्लाई ऑफ स्पेसिफाइड एक्शनेबल क्लेम्स। कॉम्पोजिशन सप्लायर के केस में भी जो टर्नओवर होता है, इट इंक्लूड्स द एडवांसेस रिसीव्ड, क्योंकि ये it falls in the exception to notification number 66 by 2017. Okay, now to this diagram, it says whichever is earlier. Now to put this diagram in another way, we can say it like this: date of issue of invoice, last date for issue of invoice, or date of receiving payment, whichever is earlier. Again, another way of saying this is, अब चारों एलिमेंट्स को हमने अलग अलग कर दिया। एक्चुअल डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस है, या जिस दिन इनवॉइस इशू हो जानी चाहिए थी, या जिस दिन सप्लायर का बैंक अकाउंट क्रेडिट हो गया, या फिर जिस दिन उसने अपनी बुक्स में एंट्री कर दी है। आई हैव मेड एन एक्रोनियम फॉर दिस। आई हैव टेकन दीज words from each of the elements and I have made the acronym as BALI. बैंक क्रेडिट, यानी जिस दिन सप्लायर का बैंक क्रेडिट हो गया है बैंक अकाउंट, जिस दिन उसने अपने अकाउंट्स में एंट्री कर दी है, लास्ट डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस, या फिर इनवॉइस की एक्चुअल डेट। आउट ऑफ दीज 4 इवेंट्स, विच एवर इज अर्लियर। बट दिस acronym will work only in case of 2 situations: composition supply or supply of specified actionable claims. Time again I am repeating it so that you don't get confused. Okay, so this was another way of remembering it. In life, be awesome. So in, I stands for invoice, L stands for last date of issuance of invoice, B stands for bank account, bank credit, and A stands for account entry. So all these notes will be shared with you. If you find any of the acronyms useful, you can follow them also. Now, so with this, we come to an end of the revision of the topics. Yes, Soumya, you are right. For composition and specified actionable claims, you have to check all the 4 events. But this is only for these 2 situations. बार बार मैं ये बात रिपीट कर रही हूँ कि यही 4 इवेंट्स, ये 2 सिचुएशंस में ही आप चारों इवेंट्स देखोगे, वरना जो गोल्डन रूल हमने शुरू में सीख लिया, इनवॉइस की डेट, एक्चुअल डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस और लास्ट डेट फॉर इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस, maximum questions will revolve around that only. Now we'll be solving some questions. This question we had taken in last class also, but for the purpose of revision, I will be doing it today also. I want answer for this question from all of you. We have come to an end of the revision of last class concept. Those who were not there in last class, they have also brushed up they have also come to know the concepts. You have also revised the concepts. Now let us start with this particular question. So a machine has to be assembled and supplied at site. It is done by sourcing various components from vendors and assembling the machine at the site. Good, I have started getting the answers also. So on 17th of September, purchase order with advance of 50,000 is received. Purchase order is received, advance is received of rupees 50,000 on 17th September for the machine worth rupees 12 lakh and entry duly made in the seller's books of accounts. तो advance receive भी हो गया, books में entry भी हो गई, purchase order भी उसी दिन मिला. 20th October, machine is assembled, tested at site and accepted by the buyer. 23rd October, invoice raised. And 4th November is balance payment of 11,50,000 received. So शुरू में 50,000 का advance मिला था, balance payment आपको 4th November को मिली है, invoice की date 23rd October है. So what is the time of supply? Okay, Priyanshi, you are telling HC. Okay, HC stands for what? This is another way of writing. Okay, you are making another acronym for actionable claims. That is also true. HC block can also be there. So I will share it in the screen for actionable claims because it can help some of you to retain the concept. Now, this is for actionable claims, specified actionable claims, an acronym suggested by another student. Now, so Milan, Anubhav, Prakash, Rajveer, Prem, Almas, Sunil, Ananya, Miss P, Priyanshi, Harsh, Soumya, Tanu, Kirti, then Prakash had wrongly, okay, Prakash, give me the right answer then. Tanush, Dhanush and then Sabah. Priyanshi, you are right. You had actually followed the concept. Then Meera. All of you have given the correct answer. And the correct answer is 20th October, because this is the date on which delivery of the machinery has been made available to the recipient. In this case there is no movement of goods. ये सेकंड वाले केस में फॉल करता है जहां पे गुड्स की मूवमेंट नहीं हो रही है, मशीनरी साइट पे असेंबल हुई, जब वो मशीनरी बन गई उसके बाद वो कहीं नहीं गई, वो उसी साइट पे रही, वहीं पे ऑपरेट करते रहे उस पे हम। तो जिस डेट पे वो मशीनरी की डिलीवरी हुई, बिकॉज 20th इज द डेट व्हेन इट इज एक्सेप्टेड बाय द बायर, बायर सेड इट्स फाइन, इट्स ओके फ्रॉम माय पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, नाउ आई विल स्टार्ट यूजिंग इट. So 20th October is the last date on which invoice should have been issued, and 23rd October is the date on which invoice has been actually issued. So earlier of these two dates we will take, and that is 20th October is the time of supply. I hope you got the point, and all of you have answered it correctly. Very, I'm very happy to see that. Now we come to the next question. Gas is supplied by a pipeline to the recipient. The supply is to be made for a period of 1 year. Remember, supply has to be made for 1 year. Read each and every line of this example carefully. Monthly payments are to be made by the recipient as per the contract. Monthly payments have to be made for a 1 year contract. The details of the payments made are as follows. तो 3 पेमेंट्स हमने की इसके अंदर, 1 जुलाई 5 को, August 5 को, September 5 को. पेमेंट्स ऑफ ₹2 lakh मेड इन ईच मंथ, एंड स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अकाउंट्स इज रिसीव्ड ऑन अ क्वार्टरली बेसिस. ये एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइडेड है कि स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अकाउंट्स क्वार्टरली आती है और पेमेंट मंथली होती है. ओके, here also I have got one response. Kesapuram Kumari had told gambling, so you were telling the specified actionable claim. Good, Kesa. And you can mention, you can now start participating. Those who are there in the ECPL, they can start participating. Who are not in Zoom, they should also participate in in the questions which we are solving. So I'm waiting for you to solve this question and give me the answer. Astha, I didn't get your question particularly. Can you please reframe it? Last time we discussed that renting of residential dwelling is by, even if it is by railway, the same provision will apply, which is there, entry 5AA. So if you can reframe your query, I will let you know. And regarding this particular question, so Ishan, time of supply will be each month in which payment is received. Yes. In fact, I want the date. So date, you must, by now you would have ascertained. Rajveer, you are right. Prakash, you also have to tell the exact date on which time of supply will arise. Tanu is right. Mohammed Farhan, you're right. Then Sunil is right. In fact, on this question, I have got lesser answers. So some confusion, is it there in your mind? You have some confusion in this question because this is a question of, okay, Priyanshi is saying, when you explain its answer, please explain a little bit in Hindi. Priyanshi, you're talking about this particular question of continuous supply of goods. I will explain once in English, then in Hindi. Don't worry. This is a particular case of continuous supply of goods. So I have got correct answer now from Miss P as well as from Soumya. Why is it a continuous supply of goods? Because the gas is being supplied on a continuous basis. जब हमने continuous supply of goods का example पूछा था तो आप सबने unanimously gas का example तो दिया ही दिया था. उसके अलावा water, electricity, milk supply, newspaper supply, lot of examples you had given. Bottled water which we give in the offices. you know that this, I would not say Bisleri water because it's not necessarily a Bisleri brand water. Any water which is purified and it is put in a bottle and given sent in your offices, that is also an example, because on a monthly basis we pay the person. So continuous supply of goods, जहां पर recurring basis पर आप supply कर रहे हो, you are making the supply on a recurring basis. It is a case of continuous supply of goods. First of all, there is a period of contract which is longer, that is 1 year. Payments have to be made. Successive payments are यहाँ पर periodical payments, and that is monthly payments are there as per the contract, and the dates have been given to you. So each month on the fifth day of the next month, you are making payment for the previous month. So on July 5, August 5, and September 5, we have given 3 dates, and we have asked you what is the time of supply. Statement of accounts quarterly basis पे मिल रहा है. अब स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अकाउंट्स बाद में आ रहा है, पहले क्या होता है, हर महीने में पेमेंट रिसीव हो जाती है. तो वी हैड सीन दैट सक्सेसिव पेमेंट्स आर बीइंग रिसीव्ड. कॉन्टिन्यूअस सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स है ये. तो कॉन्टिन्यूअस सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स के केस में या तो डेट ऑफ एक्चुअल इनवॉइस, अभी यहाँ पर इन दिस क्वेश्चन इट इज नॉट मेंशन्ड व्हेन द इनवॉइस इज इशूड, सो वी आर अज्यूमिंग दैट इनवॉइस मे बी हैज नॉट येट बीन इशूड, बट we know last date for issuance of invoice will be date of statement of account, successive statement of account, or date of successive payments, whichever is earlier. Therefore, we had, in this case, the answer will be liability to pay GST is end of each month. Liability to pay GST will be in the next month. So whatever tax we have to pay in the month of April, that will be deposited with the government in the month of May. If you are a monthly return filer, then you have to pay in the month of May. On 20th of May, that will be the due date. But in case you are a quarterly return filer, you are a quarterly return monthly payment, that means QRMP supplier, then in that case you have to pay it on a quarterly basis. So for entire quarter, we'll take the time of supply, whatever transactions that their time of supply fall in that particular quarter, and tax will be paid in the next, the 22nd or 24th following the quarter. That depends on which state you are in. That on that particular date, that will be the due date for depositing the tax. Okay, I hope you got that point, Prakash. So Harsh is saying in sales and return. So in this particular question, first of all, I will come to your point, Harsh. The time of supply will be July 5, August 5, and September 5 for the amount of 2 lakhs. So 2 lakhs, the payment of 2 lakhs has been made thrice on July 5, August 5, September 5. Each of these date will be a time of supply because उस दिन तक उसकी invoice issue हो जानी चाहिए थी. प्यांशी, एक बार मैं इसको पूरा हिंदी में एक्सप्लेन करूँ. ये कॉन्टिन्यूस सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स का क्वेश्चन है बिकॉज इस केस में आपकी जो गैस की सप्लाई है वो कॉन्टिन्यूस या रेकरिंग बेसिस पर होती है. हर मंथ में आप उसकी पेमेंट करते हो. 1 साल का आपका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है कि आपको 1 साल के लिए गैस सप्लाई करनी है थ्रू अ पाइपलाइन टू द रेसिपिएंट. रेसिपिएंट को थ्रू अ पाइपलाइन गैस सप्लाई हो रही है फॉर 1 year कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज देयर. मंथली बेसिस पे उसको पेमेंट होती है उसकी. 5th of every month पेमेंट इज 5th of next month पेमेंट इज ड्यू या पेमेंट इज मेड. अगले महीने की 5 तारीख को पेमेंट हो जाती है पूरे महीने की, यानी अप्रैल मंथ की पेमेंट 5th मई को होगी, मई मंथ की पेमेंट 5th जून को, और जून मंथ की पेमेंट 5th जुलाई को. हर महीने में जो पेमेंट हो रही है, फिर एक पूरे क्वार्टर की एक स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अकाउंट्स भी आती है. उससे हम टैली कर लेते हैं कि ठीक है क्या बैलेंस है क्या नहीं है. उस बेसिस पे भी जो डिफरेंस होगा वो टैक्स पे हो जाएगा. बट अभी हमें सिर्फ इन्फॉर्मेशन इतनी है कि 2 लाख की पेमेंट 5 जुलाई, 5 अगस्त और 5 सितंबर को हुई थी कॉन्टिन्यूस सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स के केस में. तो इस केस में क्या होगा, इस केस में टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई ये तीनों डेट्स होंगी क्योंकि हमने एक्चुअल डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस तो दिया नहीं हुआ, तो इसलिए वो तो हम नहीं निकाल सकते. लेकिन लास्ट डेट फॉर इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस क्या होगा वो हमें पता है. या तो डेट ऑफ सक्सेसिव स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अकाउंट्स होगा या डेट ऑफ सक्सेसिव पेमेंट्स होगा. तो यहाँ पे पेमेंट्स है हमारे पास क्योंकि पहले पेमेंट्स ही हो रही हैं, इसलिए ये 3 जो डेट्स हैं हमारी 5 अगस्त, 5 जुलाई और 5 सितंबर will be our time of supply. Now let me see the queries. Kirti, when you are saying 5th September, so you know that जुलाई और अगस्त भी होगा क्योंकि हर मंथ की अलग टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई होगी. आपकी जब भी पेमेंट आपकी रिसीव होगी दैट विल बी योर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. तो जुलाई 5 की, यानी जुलाई मंथ में जो 2 लाख की टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई फॉल हुआ है उसकी लाइबिलिटी आपकी अगस्त मंथ में अराइज हो जाएगी पेमेंट के लिए. तो जुलाई 5 को 2 लाख की लाइबिलिटी अराइज हुई. 5 लाइबिलिटी मतलब टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई बेसिकली. 5th August को then 2 lakh again the liability or GST liability has arisen, payment will be afterwards. And on 5th September also again 2 lakh liability is there. Payment date is 1st of every month, last date of issuance of invoice. नहीं, अनुभव, payment date will be 5th or the payment on which the date on which payment is being received. इसमें शायद सबको थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन है. जिस दिन आपको पेमेंट रिसीव हो रही है उस दिन आपको इनवॉइस इशू करनी थी. तो पेमेंट आपको रिसीव हो रही है हर महीने की 5 तारीख को, यानी आप देखोगे वो पिछले महीने के लिए हो रही है, वो एक अलग बात है. पर जो 5 तारीख को पेमेंट रिसीव हो रही है उस दिन आपको इनवॉइस इशू कर देनी चाहिए थी. दैट इज द लास्ट डेट ऑन विच इनवॉइस शुड हैव बीन इशूड, एंड दैट विल बी योर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई फॉर continuous supply of goods. So if anybody has, Dhanush is asking what is the answer. So Dhanush, by now you have got the answer. These 3 dates are the टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. 2 लाख रुपए की तीनों में अलग अलग 2-2 लाख रुपए की लाइबिलिटी अराइज हो रही है और 3 टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई हैं, 5th जुलाई, 5th अगस्त, 5th सितंबर. बिफोर और एट द टाइम, प्रकाश यू आर राइट, बिफोर और 5th ऑफ एवरी मंथ, दैट विल बी योर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. क्योंकि आपने देखा हर महीने की 5 तारीख को पिछले महीने की सप्लाईज की पेमेंट हो रही है. Harsh was asking one query. In sale and return, what is time of supply? Okay, sale return में time of supply क्या होता है? हमने देखा सेल और रिटर्न बेसिस पे जब हम कोई गुड्स बाहर भेजते हैं तो हमें इनवॉइस कब तक इशू करनी है, या तो जिस दिन हमारी सप्लाई ट्रांजेक्शन कंप्लीट हो जाती है, हमारे रिसिपेंट ने बोला कि गुड्स हमें अच्छे लगे, हम उनको परचेज कर रहे हैं, या 6 मंथ्स का पीरियड अगर लैप्स हो रहा है, इन दोनों में से जो भी पहले फॉल कर रहा है, विच एवर इज अर्लियर. Now that will be the last date by which the invoice should have been issued, and that will be our time of supply. तो अगर आपको एक example से, I had an example on this also. Maybe we discussed in the last session, I suppose. So let me take that example again. कि आपने अगर 1st जुलाई को goods बाहर भेजे on sale or return basis, और suppose jewelry आपने बाहर भेजी on sale or return basis, and that jewelry came back to you on 5th of January. So 5th of January it came back, and it was not sold. The person did not like it and he sent it back. So what will be the time of supply? अब time of supply होना नहीं चाहिए वैसे, ठीक है, लेकिन क्योंकि गुड्स वापस, इस केस में तो क्या डेबिट नोट इशू हो जाएगा, हम लेते हैं इट केम बैक ऑन फेब्रवरी, वी आर अज्यूमिंग इट केम बैक इन फेब्रवरी. बट क्योंकि 6 मंथ्स का टाइम, जो 1st जुलाई को हमने गुड्स बाहर भेजे उसका जो 6 मंथ्स का टाइम है वो 1st ऑफ January को it will lapse. 6 months time will lapse on 1st of January. Sale had not taken place, but we had to issue invoice by 1st of January of next year, and that will be our time of supply. उसी दिन हमें साथ में टैक्स भी, हमारी टैक्स लाइबिलिटी भी अराइज हो जाएगी. बाद में अगर ये सेल फ्रक्टिफाई नहीं होती देन डेबिट क्रेडिट नोट हैज टू बी इशूड, बट दैट इज अ सेपरेट थिंग. अभी सिर्फ हम टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई पे रहते हैं, क्रेडिट नोट पे जाएंगे तो बहुत कंफ्यूजन होगी. सो वी हैव टू सी कि 6 मंथ्स के बाद अगर 6 मंथ्स तक सेल ट्रांजेक्शन नहीं होती तो लास्ट डे ऑफ 6 मंथ विल बी योर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई, क्योंकि उसी दिन तक आपको इनवॉइस इशू कर देनी थी. आई एम वंस अगेन रिपीटिंग इट. इन केस ऑफ सेल ऑन रिटर्न बेसिस, either your supply transaction takes place within 6 months, then that is the time of supply, or if no supply takes place till the end of 6 months from the date of removal of goods, then the time of supply will be the last day of the 6th month. That will be your time of supply for the goods sent on approval basis. So by now I hope everyone is clear. So 31st September is quarter for statement of accounts. Yeah, जुलाई अगस्त सितंबर. सो सितंबर 31st को स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अकाउंट्स आया होगा, लेकिन स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अकाउंट्स में क्या था, क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन थी, वी हैव नॉट बीन प्रोवाइडेड. दिस इन्फॉर्मेशन इज गिवन ओनली टू टेल यू दैट स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अकाउंट्स और पेमेंट साथ साथ भी हो सकती हैं, दोनों चीजें हो रही हैं, तो विच एवर इज अर्लियर विल बी आर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. Miss P is saying as it is before July 5. No, for July month, for June month, okay, that we have to see, because it's not that it will only be on 31st September only. It can be on quarterly basis. It is being provided. So it can be maybe the date for July, August, September is 15th of October. The statement of accounts can be furnished, but we have to see which is the earlier of the two. That we have to see in every case. But for the time being, you can forget this information because I think this is confusing you instead of clarifying the situation. आप ये सोचो 3 पेमेंट्स की डेट्स आपके पास है, वो 3 पेमेंट्स की डेट ही आपकी टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई है, क्योंकि दैट इज द लास्ट डेट बाय विच इनवॉइस शुड हैव बीन इशूड. If statement of accounts is received on a monthly basis and it is received on first of next month, then that will be time of supply. अगर इसी क्वेश्चन में ये जुलाई 5 के पहले आपको स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अकाउंट्स मिल रहा होता 1 जुलाई को, then that would have been your time of supply, because उनमें से जो भी मिल रहा है आपको उसी बेसिस पे टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई निकालना है. स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अकाउंट्स अभी हम इस क्वेश्चन में छोड़ रहे हैं, ठीक है. Okay, so now Anubhav has also understood the point. So we are moving further to the next question. इस क्वेश्चन को if time permits I will take once again at the end, because I think time continuous supply of goods में ये statement of accounts और payments देखकर थोड़ा आप confuse हो गए हैं, but don't get confused. उन दोनों में से जो भी event पहले fall करता है successive होना चाहिए. That should be on a periodical basis you are getting. Whichever event is preceding, that will be your time of supply. Next question is there on your screen. Please solve this question. Let me see if I'm getting some answers here. No. So Shriram Enterprises, a registered supplier under GST, is engaged in the supply of plastic household goods. The firm makes a supply of goods to Messrs. Zenith and Traders, also a registered dealer under a taxable supply contract. The following details relate to this transaction. Date of removal of goods from SR, that is Shriram Enterprises, from SR's premises is 8th of January. Date of receipt of goods by Zenith Traders is 10th of January. Date of invoice is 12th of January. Then date of payment credited to SR's bank account is 6th of January. Date of recording of payment or entry in the books of accounts of SR is 7th of January. So we have got all the events with us. We just have to find the answer. So I'm waiting for answers from all of you, and I want that all of you should write the answers in the chat box to participate. Dear students, please keep participating. That will help you in clarifying the concepts in a better manner. Answers आप लिखोगे चाहे सही हो चाहे गलत हो. Don't be afraid कि answer सही नहीं है. I will take names only of those students whose answer is correct, because अगर आपका answer इस बार correct नहीं है, you will be rectifying it and then you will understand the concept. Generally, those students who give continuously right answers, I take their name that yes, you are not right, so that they can understand that yes, they are committing mistakes somewhere. But don't be afraid. Try to answer the questions. आपको जल्दी समझ आएगा कॉन्सेप्ट अगर आप आंसर साथ साथ बताते रहोगे तो. वेटिंग फॉर मोर आंसर्स. जितने पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं सबके आंसर्स चैट बॉक्स में आने चाहिए. यू आर द क्वेश्चन इज देयर ऑन योर स्क्रीन. So let us see the answers which we have got. First of all, let us see the question. In this question, goods have been removed on 8th of January and invoice has been issued on 12th of January, and it is a case of a normal supply. So all other events become irrelevant in this case. We have seen it in a crystal clear manner that only two events are important: invoice or last date of issuance of invoice. So 8th of January and 12th of January are relevant. Now let us see the correct answer. So Miss P, Mohammed Farhan, Anubhav, Vemuri, Rajveer, Prem, Milan, Astha, then Meera. No, Meera, your answer is not right. Soumya, those who want to revise your answer can send me the revised responses, because few students I can see have not given the correct answer. Vemuri, Sunil. Okay, Prakash, now you have corrected it. Almas, Priyanshi. Priyanshi, why are you getting confused with the second date? You have mentioned the correct answer. Ananya, Divya, Rehana, Banipreet, Kirti, Shalini, you are not right. You have to see your answer again. Sunil, you are right. The reason is right. Tanu, then Shalini. Okay. Now, 12th of January and 8th January, there is a bit of confusion in mind of few students. I told you that earlier of these two dates, one is the date of actual invoice. Actual invoice is 12th of January and 8th of January is the last date on which invoice should have been issued. Because ये कौन सा case है जहाँ पे goods move हो रहे हैं. There is movement of goods is there. So the last date for issuance of invoice will be the date on which goods are moved out of the factory or the seller's premises. So they are moving out on 8th of January. Earlier of these two dates will be your time of supply. इन दोनों में से जो भी पहले हो रहा है that will be your time of supply और इसीलिए time of supply 8th of January होगा. So those students who had not written the 8th January, I hope it is clear to them. किसी को भी अगर clear नहीं है तो वो बताए. प्रियांशी तो बाली से कंफ्यूज हो गई और मैंने बार बार ये बात बोली थी कि ये मैं इसलिए बता रही हूँ आपको सिर्फ दो केसेस में जो कि कॉम्पोजिशन स्कीम है और सप्लाई ऑफ एक्शनेबल स्पेसिफाइड एक्शनेबल क्लेम्स है. सो प्लीज डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज. दो ही इवेंट्स हैं आपके पास, डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस, लास्ट डेट ऑफ इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस. ओके, इन्हीं दोनों इवेंट्स को देखना है. सबा इज सेइंग मैम प्लीज रिपीट. देखो सबा दोबारा से, हाँ प्रेम को, अगर ये नोटिफाइड केस होता, हाँ had it been a notified case, then some Prem, only for your interest I'm telling because others might not get confused. थोड़े से discussion से people are getting confused. If it had been a specified case, then the correct answer would have been what you have mentioned. But I will not tell the others because they will get confused knowing that particular date. So Prem, you are right. That would be the correct answer in case it is a specified case. Now, once again, I am repeating this question. जब भी आपको टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स अंडर फॉरवर्ड चार्ज निकालना है तो आपको सिर्फ दो इवेंट्स देखने हैं, द एक्चुअल डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस एंड द लास्ट डेट फॉर इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस. आपको सब कुछ भूल जाना है. इसीलिए मैंने वो कॉन्सेप्ट से रिवाइज कराने के लिए मुझे बताना तो आपको पड़ता है क्योंकि अदरवाइज आवर डिस्कशन वुड हैव बीन इनकम्प्लीट. At the end of the session, I will take you through study material also, that each and every example, each and every concept of study material has been discussed in detail in this class because some of you expressed that particular point in the last session. Yes, specified 6 cases, Prakash, you're right. So, last date for issuance of invoice is 8th of January. Actual date of invoice is 12th January, whichever is earlier. So, earlier is 8th January only, and that will become the time of supply in this particular case. Still anybody has confusion, then please let me know. But I hope now this point will become clear. Priyanshi, now you got it. Chalo, good. Now we come to the next question. After this question, we have this particular big question also, but I will take the concept now. This question will again come back and we will solve. After this question, we'll come to the time of the other concepts because this reverse charge provisions, vouchers, then residual cases, everything we have to cover today. So after this, we'll move to, so enough of practices there. Time permits, we'll practice more questions. This is the last question. After this, we'll start with the time of supply of reverse charge under goods. Messrs. Vikas Electricals, a registered supplier of air coolers, receives an advance of 50,000 on 4th of April. Goods are dispatched on 15th April and invoice is issued on 14th April. What is the time of supply? Time of supply क्या होगा इस केस में? इस क्वेश्चन को किसी को भी गलत नहीं करना क्योंकि ये क्वेश्चन में ज्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन दी ही नहीं है. पिछले क्वेश्चन में प्रॉब्लम ये थी कि बहुत सारी इंफॉर्मेशन थी, फिर कुछ बच्चे थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूज हो गए थे. बट अगर एग्जाम में ऐसा क्वेश्चन आएगा, यू हैव टू बी वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट कि ये नॉर्मल केस है, वो वाले दो एक्सेप्शनल केसेस नहीं है, एंड मेजॉरिटी ऑफ क्वेश्चंस विल बी बेस्ड ऑन दी नॉर्मल केसेस ओनली. सो यू हैव टू अप्लाई इनवॉइस और लास्ट डेट फॉर इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस. सिंपल कॉन्सेप्ट है. अभी तो हम किसी कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी में आए ही नहीं है, अभी तो हम बहुत सिंपल चल रहे हैं. Okay, let us see the answer so that we can discuss the next concept. Okay. So Almas, yes, Almas, Prem, Mohammed Farhan, Milan, Milan, and then Ishan, Rajveer, Prakash, Anubhav, Miss P, Ananya, Astha, Rajveer again, Sunil. Sunil has mentioned some other date. Sunil, just check your question answer again. Priyanshi, Soumya, Meera, and then Vemuri, Rihana, Banipreet, Divya, Tanu, Harsh. Okay. Everybody's answer is correct. because the correct answer is 14th April. Why? Because there are only two events which we have to see: actual date of invoice or last date on which invoice is being issued, whichever is earlier. Now, which is earlier out of these two? It's 14th April, and that is your time of supply. So I hope with this, the concept becomes clear to you. Time of supply of goods under forward charge, only two events are important. I will not tell you the other case because you get confused. Only two events are there: actual date of invoice or last date for issuance of invoice. Last date for issuance of invoice, we have three special cases. We have three separate cases. One is normal case, one is continuous supply of goods, and one is goods sent on sale or return basis. That we have done in, amply details, full details we have done. And now we move to the next concept. But before that, let us see. We'll be doing these questions afterwards. So these are practice questions only. We'll do them afterwards. Don't worry, if time permits, we'll practice them. Or otherwise, I will give them to you in my PPT. You can solve them. In next class, we can discuss. Now, one very important feature of this invoice or date of invoice, last date of issuance of invoice, actual date of invoice और last date of issuance of invoice, जिससे कि आपका time of supply थोड़ा postpone हो जाता है, ये वाला जो benefit है, the benefit of not paying GST at the time of receipt of advance, जहां पे आप advance पे tax pay नहीं करते हो, notification 66 by 2017 का जो benefit है, that is applicable in two cases. Supply of goods में available है, supply of services में नहीं available है. We discussed it in the last class also. Supply of goods में ऐसा था कि working capital restriction आ रही थी because people were used to the pre-GST regime when advance was not subject to tax. तो इसलिए गुड्स के केस में सिर्फ ये रिलैक्सेशन है. दिस रिलैक्सेशन इज नॉट देयर इन केस ऑफ सर्विसेज. सेकेंड, फॉरवर्ड सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स में ही है. गुड्स में भी सिर्फ फॉरवर्ड चार्ज में है, रिवर्स चार्ज में ये बेनिफिट नहीं है. दैट वी विल बी डूइंग व्हेन वी विल बी डूइंग द रिवर्स चार्ज, टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई अंडर रिवर्स चार्ज. So in case of supply of services, it is not available. In case of supply of goods, this relaxation of not paying tax on advance is available. Okay, I hope that is clear to you. Similarly, in case of reverse charge, it is not applicable. Only in case of forward charge, this benefit is available. एक छोटा सा कॉन्सेप्ट और रह गया अभी हमारा टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई अंडर फॉरवर्ड चार्ज में, एक्सेस पेमेंट ऑफ ₹1000. अगर आप, और जनरली दिस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट अप्लाइज इन केस ऑफ द कॉन्टिन्यूअस सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, लेट अस सी द प्रोविजन. As I have shared the PPT of earlier class, till the point we had discussed in the last class, yesterday the PPT had been uploaded. You can refer it, but still if you can't find it, please let us know. In the WhatsApp group also, you can put the message, or you can let us know during the session itself. You can check in the break and please let us know. Anubhav is saying it is available. So that will help. And every PPT will be made available to you. So all these mnemonics, everything, you need not note if you feel that you want to just note the concept. So first of all, read this point which I am discussing. Excess payment up to ₹1000. For a payment of up to ₹1000 received in excess of the invoice value, जितनी invoice value थी उससे ₹1000 तक की excess payment अगर आप कर देते हैं, तो supplier can choose to take the date of invoice issued with respect to such excess amount as the time of supply of its actually goods in relation to this excess value. अगर आपके सप्लायर ने, इसके लिए एक एग्जांपल देखते हैं जिससे हमें ये, एक्चुअली ये इररेलेवेंट है प्रोविजन, बट लेट अस सी एन एग्जांपल. रुद्र गैस एजेंसी इशूज अ मंथली गैस बिल फॉर मार्च मंथ टू अ कस्टमर ओम प्रकाश. ओम प्रकाश को रुद्र गैस एजेंसी ने एक बिल इशू किया. उन्होंने कहा आपका 980 रुपीज का मार्च का महीने का बिल आ रहा है, आप पे कर दीजिए. अब ओम प्रकाश ने जब पेमेंट शुरू की तो ओम प्रकाश ने 980 की जगह राउंड ऑफ पूरी 1000 रुपीज की पेमेंट कर दी. 20 रुपीज की एक्सेस पेमेंट हो गई है. अब इस एक्सेस पेमेंट का क्या किया जाए? ये 20 रुपीज कहाँ एडजस्ट हो जाएंगे? नेक्स्ट मंथ में एडजस्ट हो जाएंगे. रुद्र गैस एजेंसी ने, कोई बात नहीं, आप पैनिक मत करो, आप डरो मत, ये 20 रुपीज नेक्स्ट मंथ में एडजस्ट कर लेंगे. बट अब आती है बात टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई की. जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट तो फौरन आ गया, लो टैक्स तो पे 1000 रुपीज पे कर दो, क्योंकि तुमने तो टैक्स 1000 रुपीज कलेक्ट कर लिए हैं, उस पे टैक्स भी कलेक्ट कर लो और हमें दे दो. सो ऑन दैट दिस प्रोविजन केम टू द रेस्क्यू. लेकिन यहाँ पर ये प्रोविजन इसलिए इररिलेवेंट हो जाता है क्योंकि हमारा इनवॉइस ही हमारा टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. बट फिर भी हम देखते हैं अगर ये प्रोविजन, अगर ये जो हमारा 66 बाय 2017 ना होता तो इस प्रोविजन की रेलेवेंस थी. अब यहाँ पे अगर हम देखें तो ये जो 980 रुपीज है। दिस परटेन्स टू द मंथ ऑफ मार्च। ये मार्च की इनवॉइस में आया था, और मार्च के यानी कि 5th ऑफ अप्रैल को जब आपको बिल रिसीव हुआ, 5th ऑफ अप्रैल विल बी टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई फॉर 980। इसमें तो कोई इशू नहीं है। ये 20 रुपीज है, दिस इज नॉट 80, दिस इज 20। सो ये 20 रुपीज के ऊपर इशू आता है कि ये 20 रुपीज का टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई क्या हो गई, तो अगले महीने की पेमेंट इस महीने हो गई। नाउ दिस पर्टेन टू अप्रैल मंथ। मार्च की पेमेंट नहीं थी, ये अप्रैल की थी। सो इस मंथ में जो अप्रैल की नेक्स्ट मंथ में एडजस्ट होगी, इनवॉइस कब इशू होगी, अप्रैल मंथ की 5th ऑफ मई को इशू हुई है। तो जो 5th मई की जो इनवॉइस जनरेट हुई है उसके अंदर आपके 20 रुपीज भी एडजस्ट हो जाएंगे। दीज 20 रुपीज एक्सेस पेमेंट विल गेट एडजस्टेड। ये प्रोविजन, दिस प्रोविजन प्रोवाइड्स अ रिलैक्सेशन कि 1000 रुपीज तक की अगर एक्सेस पेमेंट हुई है, तो अगर एडवांस पेमेंट होती तो शायद इसी मंथ में पेमेंट हो जाती। मार्च के मंथ की जो 5th अप्रैल की थी उसी में ही आपका टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई फॉल कर जाता अगर एडवांस वाला कॉन्सेप्ट अप्लाई करता तो। बट यहाँ तो खैर एडवांस का कॉन्सेप्ट अप्लाई नहीं करता। सर्विसेज में दिस विल बिकम एप्लीकेबल, वील डू इट इन डिटेल। यहाँ पे हम थोड़ा सा एक ओवरव्यू लेके छोड़ देंगे, बिकॉज द मोमेंट आई स्टार्ट डिस्कसिंग दी एडवांस प्रोविजंस मेनी स्टूडेंट्स गेट कंफ्यूज्ड। तो यहाँ ये रिडंडेंट प्रोविजन है, जस्ट टू गिव एन ओवरव्यू। जो लोग इस चीज से थोड़ा कंफ्यूज होते हैं वो छोड़ सकते हैं इसको अभी, ठीक है। तो अभी क्या है कि 5th मई को एक्चुअली में इसका टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई फॉल करेगा इन 20 रुपए का, क्योंकि ये 20 रुपए हम अप्रैल मंथ में एडजस्ट कर देंगे, और अप्रैल मंथ की इनवॉइस हमने 5th मई को जनरेट किया, और डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस इज आर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई एज पर दी नॉर्मल केस ऑल्सो एंड एज पर दिस प्रोविजन ऑल्सो। ये प्रोविजन भी यही कहता है, ये कहता है जब इनवॉइस इशू करोगे तभी आपका टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई फॉल करेगा। हमने वैसे भी यही सीखा है कि या तो डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस होनी चाहिए या लास्ट डेट फॉर इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस होनी चाहिए, वही हमारा टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई होता है। इसीलिए हम कहते हैं कि ये प्रोविजन हमारा गुड्स के केस में इररिलेवेंट है। जब हम सर्विसेज करेंगे बहुत अच्छे से इस प्रोविजन को समझेंगे, वील ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस कॉन्सेप्ट इन ग्रेट डिटेल, बिकॉज देयर इट हैज अ रेलेवेंस, हियर इट इज नॉट दैट मच रेलेवेंट। Now let us see time of supply of goods under reverse charge. Before that, there is some query. Okay, Rajni is not in WhatsApp group. We'll share the link of WhatsApp group in the break, Rajni. And when you feel the need for the, some other students are also writing for the WhatsApp groups. So we'll write. Meera, what is your query which you are saying it's not visible? Should we consider date of dispatch or date of receipt of goods? You should consider date of dispatch for the forward charge. इनफैक्ट अब मैं आपको वो पॉइंट ऑफ डिफरेंस बताने वाली हूँ कि दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या है। जब आप फॉरवर्ड चार्ज की बात करते हो, व्हेन यू वर डिटरमिनिंग द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई फॉर फॉरवर्ड चार्ज, तो सब कुछ सप्लायर के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखना था। क्यों? क्योंकि फॉरवर्ड चार्ज में हु इज लायबल टू पे टैक्स? सप्लायर। तो जो हमने बोला रिमूवल ऑफ गुड्स, सप्लायर का, सप्लायर ने अपने प्रेमिसेस से गुड्स को कब रिमूव किया, हमने सप्लायर के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखा। वी सेड जब हमने डेट ऑफ पेमेंट भी निकाला था सब सप्लायर के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से था, बट डेट ऑफ पेमेंट में हम ज्यादा नहीं जाएंगे। इनवॉइस की बात करते हैं, तो इनवॉइस में हमने कहा last date on which goods are removed from the supplier's premises. Everything was determined from the point of view of supplier. Recipient के end पे क्या हुआ वो हमने forward charge में नहीं देखा. We did not consider the recipient ends things in case of the forward charge. अब हम आ गए दूसरे कॉन्सेप्ट पे, टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई अंडर रिवर्स चार्ज। रिवर्स चार्ज में आप लोग सब कुछ रिसिपिएंट के एंड से देखोगे, क्योंकि अब रिसिपिएंट को टैक्स पे करना है। सो प्लीज स्टूडेंट्स मार्क दिस पॉइंट इन योर माइंड दैट इन केस ऑफ द रिवर्स चार्ज, टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई अंडर रिवर्स चार्ज, everything has to be seen from the recipient's point of view, क्योंकि recipient is the person liable to pay tax in this case. recipient को ही टैक्स पे करना है, इसीलिए हम सब कुछ recipient के point of view से देखेंगे। ठीक है, let me see if any other query is there to compare whichever is earlier, which date should, yeah. So Meera, your query now is resolved. Those who are not in the WhatsApp group, they will be, okay, Meera, now your query is, okay, you find it. So WhatsApp group link we'll be sharing. Now this is the, this says date, और now ये जो पिक्चर है, पहले हमने इसको किस लिए कहा था, डेट ऑफ रिमूवल ऑफ गुड्स फ्रॉम दी सप्लायर्स प्रेमिसेस, क्योंकि हम फॉरवर्ड चार्ज की बात कर रहे थे। अब जो फॉरवर्ड चार्ज में किया था सब हम एक तरफ कर देंगे, विल कम टू द रिवर्स चार्ज। फॉरवर्ड चार्ज में दो ही अपने गोल्डन प्रिंसिपल्स मिले हमें, डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस और लास्ट डेट फॉर इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस। अब हम आते हैं रिवर्स चार्ज में। रिवर्स चार्ज में वी हैव टू सी विच एलिमेंट्स ऑफ सप्लाई आर रेलिवेंट। तो पहला एलिमेंट हमारे पास आता है डेट ऑफ रिसीट ऑफ द गुड्स। टेल मी इन द चैट बॉक्स, क्या डेट ऑफ रिसीट ऑफ द गुड्स, जिस दिन गुड्स रिसीव हुए हैं रेसिपिएंट को, अब सब कुछ रिसिपिएंट के पॉइंट से डिस्कस होगा, क्योंकि अब responsibility to pay tax has come on the recipient. So अब हम इतना पार्शल हम हैं, जब हमने सप्लायर से टैक्स पे कराना था सब कुछ, हम सप्लायर की साइड चले गए थे, जब हमें रिसिपिएंट से टैक्स पे कराना है अब हम रिसिपिएंट की साइड आ गए, हम सब कुछ रिसिपिएंट की आईज से देखेंगे, वी विल बी सीइंग एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम द आईज ऑफ द रेसिपिएंट। इसीलिए कोई भी डेफिनेशन जो आप रिवर्स चार्ज में करोगे आप उसमें रिसिपिएंट के एंगल से ही चीजों को देखोगे। सिर्फ इनवॉइस एक ऐसी चीज है जो आपका सप्लायर ही इशू करेगा, वो एक डिफरेंट चीज है, अदरवाइज रिसीपेंट के एंगल से आप सारी चीज देखोगे। अब रिसीव जहां पे गुड्स की बात आती है, तो जिस दिन डिस्पैच हुआ है वो डेट रेलेवेंट है, या जिस दिन गुड्स रिसीव हुए हैं, तो गुड्स रिसीव हुए हैं इट वुड बी रेलेवेंट, ईशान इज सेइंग इट वुड बी रेलेवेंट, शालिनी इज सेइंग टाइम ऑफ पेमेंट। आई वांट मोर आंसर्स कि डेट ऑफ रिसीट ऑफ गुड्स इज रेलेवेंट और नॉट, यस और नो लिखना है, फटाफट आप लिखिए। सौम्या सेइंग यस, प्रेम इज आल्सो सेइंग यस, मीरा, अब तो एकदम फटाफट सबके आंसर्स आने शुरू हो गए हैं। सुनील इज सेइंग डिस्पैच रेलेवेंट, okay, let us see Sunil whether dispatch is relevant or receipt is relevant. Banipreet, Prem, Soumya, Priyanshi, and then Tanu, Meera, Anubhav, Tokir, then Miss P, Astha, Almas, Milan, Harsh, Rajveer, Ananya, Mohammed Farhan, Anubhav. Everyone is saying that date of receipt of goods is relevant. For your information, we have shared the link of the WhatsApp group in the chat box. Those of you who want to copy this and join the group, they can join it. Okay. You can click on the group or click on the link and you will be added in the group. That will help you a lot if you join the WhatsApp group. I time and again repeat this because this group keeps you updated about so many things. Not only about these classes only. If you have any feedback, if you miss anything, if you have anything to share, today many students were not able to join, then they were sending their messages, some problem was there at their end in their internet connection, but that we will be there to help you in every manner in which we can. So this is an initiative which we have taken to provide you the first hand support, and I all of you should take benefit from it. So please join this WhatsApp group. Now this is the date of receipt of goods, so unanimously everyone is saying it is relevant and it is relevant, date of receipt of goods, क्योंकि आप सब कुछ कहाँ किस एंगल से देखना है, recipient के एंगल से. Please let me know from whose angle now we are going to see the elements of supply in the chat box. I want the answer. Why I want the answer for this in the chat box? Because फिर आगे के concepts आपके एकदम clear आएंगे. Good. Once you write it, so it gets imprinted in your mind. So आपने लिखा recipient के एंगल से point of view से देखना था, recipient के एंगल से देखोगे. बस invoice छोड़ के बाकी सब recipient के एंगल से देखोगे. ठीक है? Good. Everyone is writing now. So this is clear. Now let us come to the next point. Everyone has written recipient. तो अब हम next point पे जाते हैं. Date of payment. इसका आंसर मैंने दे दिया आपको. Though I did not want to give the answer, but what I want to tell in this point also. अब पेमेंट की बात आती है. पेमेंट में दो तरह की पेमेंट है. एक तो डेट ऑफ रिसीट ऑफ पेमेंट बाय द सप्लायर, एक डेट ऑफ मेकिंग द पेमेंट बाय द रेसिपिएंट, क्योंकि रेसिपिएंट को पेमेंट करनी है, सप्लायर को पेमेंट रिसीव करनी है. यही एक सप्लाई का कॉन्सेप्ट होता है. दिस इज द लॉजिकल कॉन्सेप्ट बिहाइंड दी सप्लाई, कि जिस पर्सन ने रेसिपिएंट को पेमेंट करनी होती है, रेसिपिएंट हैज टू मेक द पेमेंट एंड सप्लायर हैज टू रिसीव द पेमेंट. तो इन दोनों में से कौन सी पेमेंट रेलेवेंट होगी? यहाँ एक पर्सन दूसरे पर्सन को पेमेंट कर रहा है, यानी रेसिपिएंट सप्लायर को पेमेंट कर रहा है. विच ऑफ द टू events or elements is relevant? Date of making payment by the recipient, date of receiving payment by the supplier. इन दो events में फर्क हो सकता है. डोंट थिंक कि ये सेम डेट पे होंगे. कैश जब आप दोगे तो होगा कि आपने कैश उठाया और दे दिया, पर आजकल कैश ट्रांजेक्शन्स कितनी होती है? हाउ व्हाट इज द क्वांटम ऑफ कैश ट्रांजेक्शन्स? I'm not going on the legality or illegality. I'm telling generally the digital transactions have taken a wave. So what would be, which point of view we are going to see? Okay, let me see the answer now. Miss P, Astha, Ishan, Prem, Anubhav, then Ananya, Soumya, Banipreet. Good, very very good. So this concept you will never forget this way if you are proceeding. अब हमें क्यों क्या देखना है? रेसिपिएंट का पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू देखना है. तो रेसिपिएंट हैज टू मेक द पेमेंट, सो वी विल सी डेट ऑफ मेकिंग द पेमेंट. Priyanshi is saying both seems relevant because if recipient is making the payment, supplier should actually receive it. That is true, Priyanshi, that supplier should receive the payment. But जब हमें टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई निकालना है तो सप्लायर को पेमेंट रिसीव एक आध दिन बाद भी हो सकती है. हमें जो डेट लेनी है वो हमें रिसिपिएंट के एंगल से, क्योंकि रिसिपिएंट को अपने एंड की चीजें पता होंगी. सप्लायर के एंड की देखो, लैक्स ऑफ ट्रांजेक्शंस टेक प्लेस इन ह्यूज बिजनेसेस. इट इज नॉट फॉलो टू इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल टू फॉलो ईच एंड एवरी ट्रांजेक्शन विद योर सप्लायर कि आपको पेमेंट मिल गई क्या. आप क्या करोगे, अपना बैंक अकाउंट देखोगे, आप अपनी बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स देखोगे, एंड ऑन दैट बेसिस यू विल डिटरमिन whether you have made the payment, on which date you have made the payment. that will suffice. इसीलिए जरूरी है कि सप्लायर को पेमेंट मिले, लेकिन ये आपके टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई को इफेक्ट नहीं करेगा, बिकॉज दैट विल डिले योर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई अगर आप सप्लायर के एंड से भी चीजें देखने लगोगे तो. इसीलिए ये एक काइंड ऑफ मतलब लॉजिकल प्रोविजन है कि हम सप्लायर के एंड से नहीं देखते हैं. शनॉय, योर मीरा, योर राइट. Is this applicable only in RCM? Yes, it is only applicable in RCM. RCM में ही recipient tax pay करता है, तो it is relevant only in case of the RCM. अब हम आते हैं नेक्स्ट इवेंट पे. ये है डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस हमारी. अब इनवॉइस तो सप्लायर ही रिसिपिएंट को दे रहा है. ये इस इवेंट में मैं आपको बताऊंगी इंस्टेड ऑफ आस्किंग यू. 31st डे from the date of issue of invoice by the supplier. That is also one of the elements which are going to determine our time of supply under reverse charge. Okay. Date of receipt of invoice, date of issuance of invoice. यहां पर हम date of issuance of invoice लेंगे. एक्चुअली अब यहाँ पे इनवॉइस की इशुएंस और रिसीट डेट में कुछ फर्क अगर होता है, मतलब मान लीजिए इनवॉइस इज आल्सो बीइंग कमिंग फ्रॉम इज आल्सो कमिंग फ्रॉम दी in the hard copy, then we have to see the section. So let me see what section exactly says in this particular provision. So it says date immediately following 30 days from the date of issue of invoice. So देखो जो सेक्शन कहता है वो बिल्कुल एग्जैक्टली फॉलो करना है. डेट ऑफ इशू ऑफ इनवॉइस बाय द सप्लायर, जिस दिन सप्लायर ने इनवॉइस इशू की उसके 31 डेज तक. हम आपको 31 डेज दे रहे हैं, तो इसीलिए मैंने आपको पहले कहा था इनवॉइस छोड़ के बाकी सब कुछ रिसिपिएंट के एंड से आप देखोगे. अभी जब आप डेट ऑफ मेकिंग पेमेंट भी देखोगे ना, उसका ब्रेकअप देखोगे, व्हेन यू विल सी द ब्रेकअप ऑफ डेट ऑफ मेकिंग पेमेंट, then also that will be from recipient's point of view. You will be able to appreciate it. यहाँ पर date of invoice, date of issuance of invoice. Again, I am repeating, date of issuance of invoice by the supplier. 31 days from that, 31st day, that will also be an event or element for determining the time of supply. So this is the time of supply under reverse charge. First, जिस दिन आपको गुड्स रिसीव हो गए हैं अपने प्रेमिसेस में, रेसिपिएंट को गुड्स रिसीव हो गए हैं, रेसिपिएंट ने पेमेंट कर दी है, या फिर डेट इमीडिएटली फॉलोइंग 30 डेज फ्रॉम द डेट ऑफ इशू ऑफ इनवॉइस और डॉक्यूमेंट बाय सम अदर नेम, यानी डेबिट नोट भी अगर आपका इशू है तो वो भी यहाँ कवर हो जाएगा बाय द सप्लायर. डेट फॉलोइंग 30 डेज का मतलब क्या हुआ, 31st डे फ्रॉम द इशुएंस ऑफ द इनवॉइस. ठीक है. So these are the 3 events, whichever is earlier, that will be your time of supply. जिस दिन आपको गुड्स रिसीव हुए हैं, या जिस दिन आपने पेमेंट कर दी है अपने सप्लायर को, या जिस दिन आपने इनवॉइस इशू हुई थी उससे 31 डेज आपके हमने सेट कर दिए कि हाँ 31 डेज के बाद अगर आपने ये दोनों इवेंट्स नहीं किए हैं तो दैट विल योर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई विल फॉल ऑन दी 31st डे ऑफ इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस. Okay. I've got some responses in the other portal also. So we had got some responses during the discussion, and plus Uma Mangeshwari saying, please explain in English. I can't. Okay, Uma, you're not able to understand English. Sorry, Hindi. I understood that, and don't worry. I will ensure from now onwards. In fact, earlier also, whatever I have discussed in Hindi, I have discussed in English also. This is because few students who are comfortable in Hindi, they get a better connect. But don't worry, you have not missed even a single point. And everything I have discussed in English also. And I will, from now onwards, I will keep an equal balance of English and Hindi so that you don't feel left out or missed out in missing any point. Okay. Okay. So मतलब 31st डेट होगा टाइम ऑफ हाँ. सो अनुभव, 31st डे विल बी योर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई व्हेन these 2 events have not taken place till 31st day of the issuance of invoice. Then this will be your time of supply, because we are saying earlier. So if this falls earlier, then that will be time of supply. If payment has been made before that, that will be time of supply. If these two events have not taken place till 31st day of issuance of invoice by the supplier, time of supply will be this. Only in that case. You just go through this provision. I'm seeing the queries in the meantime. Okay, Divya, you got this point. Astha is saying, please tell we have to leave the day of issue. This is a very, very important point, Astha. Don't worry, I will discuss it in detail and this concept will be clear to you. Because this is something every student gets confused that how to compute this 30 days period. In fact, in last session, when we discussed the 6 months period for sale on return basis, we computed 6 months period. Then at that time also I made this concept clear that the date of cause of action, when I say 6 months from the date of removal, because of this word from, under the General Clauses Act, it is very clearly mentioned that you have to leave the date of removal of goods, the date on which goods have been removed from the premises. जिस दिन आपके गुड्स प्रेमिसेस से रिमूव हुए हैं वो डेट आपको छोड़नी पड़ेगी, उसके अगले दिन से आप काउंट करना शुरू करते हो. यहाँ पे भी अगर आप देखोगे, it says date immediately following 30 days from the date of issue of invoice. तो date of issue of invoice आपको छोड़नी पड़ेगी, उसके अगले दिन से आप अपने 30 डेज काउंट करने शुरू करोगे और उससे नेक्स्ट डे आपका टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई होगा, अगर आपके क्वेश्चन के हिसाब से वही टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई है. बट ये डेट कंप्यूट करने का तरीका ये है. लेट मी एक्सप्लेन इन इंग्लिश. 30 days immediately following the date of issue of invoice. So 30 days from date immediately following 30 days from the date of issuance of invoice. Now first we have to compute this from the date of issue of invoice. So from the date of, when we say from the date of issue of invoice, this word from makes the date of issue of invoice to be excluded. So we do not have to count, while counting 30 days, we will first of all cross out, we'll first of all exclude the date of issuance of invoice. From next day, we'll start counting 30 days. Now, when this 30-day period will lapse, on that particular day, the provision says date immediately following that day. So we'll take the next day. That is why I have mentioned for your convenience, or itself I have mentioned 31st day from the date of issuance of invoice. So whatever is the date of issuance of invoice, exclude that. From next day, start computing 31 days. The day on which 31st day falls, that is your time of supply. From equal to minus, yeah, you can take it. From मतलब exclusion. From मतलब उसको exclude करना है आपको. Priyanshi saying, what if 31st day goods received by recipient? If everything is falling on same day, then that will be your time of supply. If everything is falling on 31st day, that is not an issue. That will be your time of supply. That is very apparent. Okay. So whichever is earlier. Now we come to date of making the payment. यहाँ पे हमने 3 events देखे. We saw 3 events or 3 elements. Goods, date on which goods are received. ये तो physical delivery है. You are physically receiving the goods. तो जिस दिन आपकी बुक्स, आपने गुड्स की रिसीट की एंट्री कर दी है, वो आपकी डेट ऑफ रिसीट ऑफ गुड्स हो गया. वेरी सिंपल टू डिटरमिन. दिस इज ऑल्सो सिंपल टू डिटरमिन डेट जो आपकी इनवॉइस पे है. द डेट विच इज मेंशन्ड ऑन द इनवॉइस, यू विल टेक 31st डे फ्रॉम दैट डेट. दैट इज ऑल्सो क्लियर. Date of making the payment. Now earlier also we had seen date, because this is a digital era. Sometimes when we receive the check, when we make the payment digitally, there can be a lag between our recording in the books of accounts and the digital payment. So date of making the payment, what will be the, how will we determine the date of making the payment? Date of making payment कैसे निकालेंगे हम? First of all, date of issuance of check is not relevant. जिस दिन आपने check issue किया, if you are making a payment through check, that is not relevant. अगर आप cash payment कर रहे हो, then it is fine. But if you are making a payment through check, then that date will not be relevant. Now this event. Please tell me in the chat box whether this is relevant or not. Date of debit in recipient's bank account. If any of you want break, please give me in the chat box. I have to cover a lot of concepts, but I just want to, if you can bear with me without break, then it's okay. But otherwise, I will give you a break also. That is not an issue. At least for 10 more minutes, we should continue so that this concept gets covered. Yes, so it is relevant. Very good. Date of debit in recipient's bank account. This word recipient should immediately strike you, because what we had discussed, everything from recipient's point of view. That I will be knowing only that date on which the payment has been debited from my bank account. Okay. the date on which it gets credited in supplier's bank account, sometimes there can be a lag between the two events, and I might not be aware of that particular date, but I would be aware of the date on which the payment has been debited from in my bank account. And that is why we had taken this date for determining the date of making the payment. जिस दिन मेरे बैंक अकाउंट से पेमेंट डिडक्ट हो गई है, मेरी तरफ से पेमेंट हो गई है. Prakash is saying, ma'am, for example, invoice issued on 1st April. So time of supply is, if invoice is issued on 1st April, then you would be having 29 days in April, Prakash. And then 31st April, 31st April we don't have, na? We have 30th April. So 29 days will be in April and 2 days will be in May. So 2nd of May will be 31st day. If you are counting 31st day, that will be 2nd of May. Second will be date on which payment is entered in the books of accounts of the recipient. See what is mentioned here. Payment made. Because recipient is making the payment. So in case cash is there, then this date will be date of entry in the books of accounts, or date of, instead of date of debit, it will be date of receipt of cash. Who has asked this query? Astha. Astha, it will be date of receipt of cash or date of entry in the books of accounts. Okay, Ishan is saying it is relevant. Meera is saying it is relevant. Anubhav, Soumya, everybody is saying date on which payment is entered in the books of accounts of the recipient. It is relevant. One message I had got. Okay, all of you are saying it is relevant. Okay, so Tanu is saying I need a break. And Priyanshi is saying, no, ma'am, continue. It's interesting. Anubhav is saying, yes, I can bear it. So thanks, Anubhav, for bearing the class. And some of you, so those of you who want a break, please mention it. We'll take a break of 5 minutes at least. We'll not take a long break because we have a lot to cover today. Okay, Vemuri is saying continue. But those of you who want a break, because most of you want to continue, those of you who want a break, please give it in the chat box. Yes. So what we got, the date of payment, making payment would be date of debit in the recipient's bank account. जिस दिन recipient का bank account debit हो गया, या जिस दिन उसने अपने books of accounts में entry कर दी, इन दोनों में से जो भी पहले हुआ है, that will be date of making payment. फॉरवर्ड चार्ज के केस में इस डेट को हमने बहुत इग्नोर किया था. वी हैड इग्नोर्ड दिस डेट इन केस ऑफ द फॉरवर्ड चार्ज बिकॉज आवर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई हैड बीन रिलैक्स्ड एंड इट हैज बीन मेड ओनली इनवॉइस रिलेटेड. तो इनवॉइस के चारों तरफ ही हमारा टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई घूमता था, इसीलिए हमने इस डेट को बहुत ज्यादा वी हैड इग्नोर्ड कि ठीक है जो भी कुछ होगा डेट ऑफ रिसीविंग द पेमेंट वील नॉट सी. But in case of the reverse charge, it is very important because it is one of the events which will help you. It is one of the elements which will help you in determining the time of supply under reverse charge. In fact, reverse charge may, ठीक है, 5 minutes break I will give you after this provision. Don't worry. Before the break, tell me can you name few goods which are taxable under reverse charge? आपके सिलेबस में नहीं है रिवर्स चार्ज के प्रोविजंस फॉर गुड्स. प्लीज मेक दिस श्योर. यू शुड नो दिस. इट इज नॉट इन योर सिलेबस बट स्टिल जस्ट फॉर द इंफॉर्मेशन पर्पस आई वांट टू नो इफ एनी ऑफ यू नो कि रिवर्स चार्ज में कौन कौन से गुड्स टैक्सेबल होते हैं. द गुड्स विच आर टैक्सेबल. आई एम आस्किंग. सर्विसेज की तो अभी लंबी लिस्ट एवरीबडी ऑफ यू विल प्रोवाइड मी. इफ आई आस्क यू एवरीबडी विल गिव मी, बट आई वांट द गुड्स. Tanu has given me one example, cashew nut. Good, Tanu. You know this. Some more examples. Some more examples if you people can tell me. Tanu knows all the examples. BD wrapper. This is also one of the example that where the recipient has to pay the tax. Specified supplier, specified recipient has to be there for these goods. So if cashew nut is there, peeled or unpeeled cashew nut, then BD wrapper, lottery, good, raw cotton, Anubhav, Meera, good. Soumya is also right. Tobacco leaves. Used vehicles. Yes, specified used vehicles. Manipreet. Silk yarn. Soumya, you are right. Silk yarn is also one of the goods which is taxable under reverse charge. Again, I am repeating, not relevant for your exams, but for the purpose of interest, for the purpose of information, I am asking you whether you know this or not. Okay. So these are the examples. Metal scrap has recently been added to this. So that is also taxable under reverse charge. Now with this information, let us once again go to that time of supply under reverse charge. First, we said receipt of goods. This was the first event we saw in the previous slides. Then we had the last event, that was 31st day from the date of issue of invoice by the supplier. That was the last event. In between, the second event was date of making payment by the recipient. Now we have understood what is date of making payment. So we incorporated in this table that also, that date of debit in the recipient's bank account and date of recording or recording the payment in the books of accounts of the recipient. So this makes the complete chart of determination of time of supply under the reverse charge, whichever is earlier. This is the the concept. अगर आपको time of supply under reverse charge of goods निकालना है, then you have to follow this particular chart. In fact, I had got correct answer from Prakash in the another portal, Raw Cotton. So Prakash, you are answering here also, and you are answering in this Zoom also. Priyanshi has given me Tiberg. Okay. So a lot of acronyms are coming. In fact, I will give this acronym also here. So this is for reverse charge under goods, though it is not relevant for examination point of view, but if somebody has made some effort, we should appreciate it. So this is for, I think this is for this only now, or you have made some, so you have made this, okay, I got it now. For this particular chart of reverse charge, tax time of supply under reverse charge, she has made an acronym, Tiberg. Good, very good, Priyanshi. I really liked it because T is 31st day, receipt, goods, bank, and account. Good. So, but I had also made a small effort for this, and I had made a mnemonic, which was this. I made it grab it. So I had rearranged the goods, rearranged the events. So goods received is one event, then accounts entry, then bank debit, then invoice issue 31 days. This I had twisted a bit because to make it somehow an acronym which you can remember. So goods received, accounts debit, accounts entry, bank debit, and then invoice date 31 days. Invoice issue 31 days. Okay, so thank you, Priyanshi. Anubhav says it's just in reverse. Okay, it's going in reverse. Yeah, you're right. It's in reverse. So you can, whichever you want to remember or you find it easy to remember, you can take it. You can make some your own mnemonics that can also be there. Another way for making the mnemonics was this. In fact, Priyanshi has given Tiberg. I made this. Good runs turn into big averages. Some cricket lovers will like this mnemonic also. And this is the full form. These notes you will get. So you can see if you find this mnemonics useful, you can take this one. Or if you find grab it useful, you can use that also. Just to retain the concept. But अगर हम सिर्फ concept की बात करें तो एक बार फिर से break पे जाने से पहले we'll revise it. Time of supply under reverse charge के लिए there are 4 events which are relevant. Date of receipt of goods. 31 days from the date of issue of invoice by the supplier. Then date of debit in the books of date of debit in the bank account of the recipient, and date of entry in the books of accounts of the recipient. Sub recipient के angle से सिर्फ invoice छोड़ के, whichever is earlier is your date of time of supply. I'm giving a 5 minutes break to all of you. I'm leaving it here. After the break, we will be discussing the questions based on this particular concept. Okay, we'll be discussing some questions. Then we will take the GST Titan quiz. We'll be quick in taking GST Titan quiz today because all of you have understood the concept. So is this WhatsApp queries? It's for intermediate. This group is for intermediate LVC classes. So you can join this group. So we are going for a 5 minutes break. Divya, please put the break. Welcome back, students. Welcome after the break. And now we were on the time of supply of goods under reverse charge. We were on this mnemonics which we had discussed in the last. And let us see the last concept under the reverse charge. If it is not possible to determine time of supply under reverse charge of goods based on any of the above parameters, which parameters? That when the payment has been received, when the goods have been received, or when the invoice has been issued by the supplier. If any of these parameters or these parameters are not known to us, then a residual method has also been provided under the section that the time of supply will be on the date on which the goods are recorded in the books of accounts of the recipient. एक simple method दे दे कि ठीक है आपके पास कुछ भी नहीं है, कोई ऐसी supply transaction है, मे बी वो सर्च एंड सीजर या किसी ऐसी एक्टिविटी के थ्रू किसी ऐसी प्रोसेस में डिटरमिन हुई है या मे बी वो ट्रांजेक्शन कहीं रिकॉर्ड नहीं हुई है, तो उसकी कोई भी इस तरह की डिटेल्स हमारे पास नहीं, वी डू नॉट हैव एनी डिटेल ऑफ अ सप्लाई ट्रांजेक्शन which fall under the parameters of time of supply under reverse charge. Then the time of supply will be date on which the goods are recorded in the books of accounts of the recipient. Before we proceed further, let me tell you, we have shared the link for joining GST Titan quiz in the chat box. Plus, we have shared with you the code also, quiz code, that is 142524. So all of you can, in the meantime, join through this separate link and put this code and put your complete name for entering into the GST Titan quiz. And we'll see who is the GST Titan today. But before that, let us practice some questions on reverse charge so that when it comes into the, okay, this is not received by you. Maybe I put it during the break. So that could also be, okay, it went to Anubhav directly. Sorry, I would be putting it in the group again. See, this is the link which I have given for joining the GST Titan quiz. Now tell me if you can see the link, and this is the code 142524. Okay, Soumya Singh, please explain the last slide again. Let me show you the last slide again, Soumya. Okay, now everybody can see the link and you can join. Keep yourself ready for the quiz. Someone has unmuted his. Why this sound is coming? Okay, so in case for any supply transaction, if we do not have the, this is, everybody please mute yourself. So am I audible? Am I audible to you now? Please tell me in the chat box whether I am audible to you. Okay. So let's start with the session. So date on which goods are recorded in the books of accounts of the recipient of supply. In case any transaction regarding which is taxable under reverse charge and on pertaining to that transaction, the above parameters. Which parameters? These 4 parameters are not available. That is date of receipt of goods, entry in the books of accounts of the recipient. Then what we will do, we'll simply take date of recording that particular transaction in the books of accounts by the recipient as time of supply. क्योंकि उस पर टैक्स तो पे कराना ही है recipient से, तो हम उसको सिंपल बोलते हैं आज आप अपनी ट्रांजेक्शंस रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हो, भी टैक्स पे कर दो, दिस इज योर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई, उसके अकॉर्डिंग आप टैक्स पे कर देना. दिस इज अ रेजिडुअल मेथड एक्चुअली. Now we come to the next question, which is based on time of supply under reverse charge. This is there on your screen. I'm reading the question. Please give me the answers. Shridev Steel Traders supplies metal scrap to Messrs Metal Corp, a registered buyer liable to pay GST under reverse charge. Shridev Steel Traders receives consideration of rupees 30,000 in advance on 5th May and supplies the scrap. Now I told you na, metal scrap has recently been included in the reverse charge notification. Supplies the scrap. Now supplies the scrap on 9th May, which was received by Messrs Metal Corp on 10th May. Every information has to be read carefully. Shri Dev Steel Traders issued the invoice on 8th of May. Now tell me what is the place or what is the time of supply in this particular question. I had started getting the answers, but I want all of you to solve this question and then come up with the right answer. And remember, in case of time of supply under reverse charge, the date of receiving the goods, date of making payment is equally important. So we are under reverse charge now. And when we'll be doing quiz, we will be simultaneously dealing with all the provisions. So let us see the answers because we'll be a bit quick in solving these questions. Priyanshi said, ma'am, please share link once again. I have joined on another device also. Okay, you want me to put the link, Priyanshi? This is the link. Okay, I had sent it to a specific student. Let me send it to everyone. This is the link and this is the code. Okay, let us see the answers to this particular question and then we'll see the provision. So, Anubhav, you are right. Miss P, again see your answer. Prem, Ritika, Ananya, right? So don't go by that forward charge provisions now. Now you have to forget about forward charge provisions. Only stick to reverse charge provisions, students, please. So then we have the why all of you are confused in this particular question. I have got correct answers from Tanu. Then that's it. So all other answers we have to once again check. We have to once again consider those question answers. Rajveer, now you have arrived at the right answer. So Rajveer understood his point that where is he committing mistakes. Soumya, your answer is also correct. See, let us once again go through the question. The consideration of 30,000 is received in advance on 5th May. So this is the date of making is now who has received this payment? Dave Steels has received this payment. Now the point is that many students who are feeling that payment has been received by the supplier, but date of making the payment is not known to us. That is true. Now this question I have put here just to tell you that when you have only one date for making the payment, then we have to assume that the payment has been made and payment has been received on a single day because that can also happen. We generally take examples to show that the payment date and receipt date, the date of making the payment and date of receiving the payment are two different dates to explain you the concept. So that in case these two dates differ, then also you are able to understand the concept. इस question के अंदर date of receiving the payment and date of making the payment एक ही दी हुई है. ये इसी कॉन्सेप्ट को एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए है कि अगर आपको क्वेश्चन में इस तरह से भी दिया हुआ है कि सप्लायर को उस दिन पेमेंट रिसीव हुई है, दैट मीन्स फिर डेट ऑफ मेकिंग द पेमेंट भी यही है. अदरवाइज क्वेश्चन में डिफरेंटली दिया होता. ये इसीलिए आपको क्वेश्चन इनकॉर्पोरेट किया गया ताकि ये चीज आप समझ सको कि अगर ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि हमेशा डेट ऑफ मेकिंग द पेमेंट बाय द रिसिपिएंट विल डिफर फ्रॉम डेट ऑफ रिसीविंग द पेमेंट बाय दी सप्लायर. ऐसा जरूरी नहीं कि आज पेमेंट किए तो कल परसों में ही सप्लायर को मिलेगी. वो एक कॉन्सेप्ट समझाने के लिए आपको बताया जाता है कि दोनों डिफरेंट होंगी तब आपको क्या लेना है. तो आपको डेट ऑफ रिसीट ऑफ डेट ऑफ मेकिंग द पेमेंट ही लेना है. डेट ऑफ रिसीट ऑफ पेमेंट को इग्नोर करना है. रेखा, यू ऑल्सो हैव टू सी योर आंसर. तो फर्स्ट इवेंट ये हो गया डेट ऑफ पेमेंट. डेट ऑफ मेकिंग द पेमेंट भी हम यही मानेंगे. ठीक है. अब इनफैक्ट कुछ आंसर्स और करेक्ट हुए हैं. मीरा का आंसर भी करेक्ट हो गया है. फिर डेट ऑफ डिस्पैच ऑफ गुड्स. अब यहाँ पर अगर यहाँ पर सिंपल लिखा होता डेट ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ स्क्रैप इज 9th में, और मैं अभी मान रही हूँ कि अगर ये इन्फॉर्मेशन हमें नहीं होती दी हुई, इफ दिस इन्फॉर्मेशन वाज नॉट गिवन टू यू, व्हाई आई एम टेलिंग यू just to clarify all your doubts. So if it is only mentioned supply the scrap of 9th May, so we would have assumed ki 9th May is the date of dispatch and 9th May is the date of receipt of goods. But here date of receipt of goods has been properly given to you. It has been separately given to you. So we are We will take that into consideration. And therefore, the date of receipt of goods is 10th May. So this is date of receipt of goods. Okay. Third event which is given to you is the date of invoice by the supplier. We have to take 31 days from this particular date. How will we compute that? Though it is not relevant, it is very obvious from this particular question that 31 days from this particular event will fall way far beyond this first date of 5th May. So we have one day as date as 5th, another date as 10th, and third date as 31st day from 8th May. Why I am not computing this date? There are two reasons. In examination, if it is an MCQ based question, you're not supposed to compute this date. And even if it is a descriptive question, it is required. If it is required in the question, because it is one of the dates, then it might be required. You can write this way, 31st day from 8th May. But yes, preferably you should compute that date. So that we can cover more questions, I'm not computing it. If some of you can give me that, okay, 5th May, now everybody is on 5th May. Thankfully, all of you have understood the concept. So out of these three dates, which is the earliest date? That is the 5th May. Okay, let's compute because some students want to compute this. We are computing 31 days, 31st day from 8th May. Now, in the month of May, we have to exclude 8th May that we have already seen. The date of issuance of invoice has to be excluded. So how many days are left in the month of May? There are 31 overall days. 8 days we have excluded. So we are left with 23 days in the month of May. We have to see 31st day. Therefore, that will become 8 days for June also we have to take. Then it will become 31. So this is 8th June. 8th June will be the day on which 31st day from the date of issuance of invoice will fall. So 5th May, 10th May, and 8th June. These are the three dates which are available to us, and we have to take earliest of the three. In this case, date of making and receiving payment is same, and date of making the payment, we have not been given the details of it. So only date has been given, one date has been given. So we have taken it as 5th May. Hope that clarifies your doubt. And in fact, Miss P, you are saying June 8, but June 8 will not be the date because we have to take earlier of the three dates. 31 days from the date of invoice we had taken just to know that how we have to compute this. But that does not make any repercussion on your answer. Okay, you all are telling me, okay, now I got Miss P that you are telling me the answer to 31 days from the date of issuance of invoice. Got it. So all of you are providing me this, the 8th June as 31 days from the date of issue of invoice. Yes, I got it. I got that you are giving me the answer to this particular point. Okay, Rajni is saying concept is more clear now. Okay, with this date you got it clear. So all of you had given me this date, 8th June. Now I am sure that you are clear with this concept. Let's move to the next question. We'll take 2-3 more questions and then we will move to the next concept. May 4 is the date on which the supplier issues goods taxable on reverse charge basis to Bridge and Company. Supplier invoices. So this is the date of invoice, May 4. May 12 is the goods date on which this Bridge and Company is the recipient. Supplier's name is not given to us. So Bridge and Company has received the goods. And May 30 is the date on which Bridge and Company makes the payment. So what is the date of time of supply? And May 4 is the date on which the invoice has been issued by the supplier. Now, based on that, you have to give the correct answer. Okay, let me see. So, Prakash, you are right. Miss P, you are right. Prem, you are right. Anubhav, once again, see your answer. Astha is right. Meera, Priyanshi, Mohammed Farhan. Soumya, you also have to see your answer. Harsh is right. Vanipreet also has to see. Once again, I'm telling May 4 is the date on which invoice has been issued by the supplier. Supplier issues goods taxable. Oh, sorry. May 4 is not the date on which. Sorry, it's my fault. May 4 is the date on which the Invoices goods. Invoices goods means it's not goods sent, it's invoices goods. That means the date of invoice. I think this language has confused few students. So this is the date of invoice, and who is invoicing the goods? The supplier. Yes, let me see the answers again. So Banipreet, see your answer. Almas is right. Ritika is also right. Then Rajveer, once again, see your answer. Ishan, Shalini, Ananya, Vemuri, Soumya. Soumya, now you are right. So Vemuri, you have to check your answer again. Pawan is saying Hindi में बोलिए. ठीक है, I will speak once. I will explain this question in Hindi also. Tanu is saying June 4. June 4, Tanu, you are telling me the date of 31 days from the date of issue of invoice or what? Now, Rajveer, you are right. Rihana has given me the date of payment. Vamuri is right. Then Milan, again see your answer. Anubhav is right. Vamuri, you again have to see your answer. Why I am asking some of you to review your answer? There is a reason that in this question, see, there are three dates which are available. One is the date of invoice, that is 4th May. This is the date of receipt of goods. Bear with my handwriting. This is date of receipt of goods. And this is May 30th is the date of payment, date of making payment. Okay. So we are concerned with three events: date of payment, date of receipt of goods, and 31st day from the date of issuance of invoice. So these two dates are available with us, May 12, May 30. This third date, many students, what they have done, they have taken earliest of these three dates. No, that is not the correct way. Because what you have to do is you have to take 31 days from this May 4. That will be your event. Third event will be 31 days from here. दोबारा से साथ में हिंदी में भी बताती हूँ. कुछ लोगों ने क्या किया, इन तीनों में से जो अर्लीस्ट है उसको आंसर बना लिया, बिना ये देखे कि ये जो May 4 है ये डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस है, इससे आपको 31 डेज लेने हैं. अब मे मंथ में आपके कितने डेज बचते हैं इसके बाद, अगर आप 4 डेज एक्सक्लूड करते हो, बिकॉज दिस डेट हैज टू बी एक्सक्लूडेड, तो इसके बाद आपके 27 डेज बचते हैं. और जून में कितने चाहिए आपको, 4 डेज चाहिए. तो जून 4 इज योर थर्ड इवेंट. अब आपको इन तीनों में से कंपेयर करना है विच एवर इज अर्लीस्ट. अब किसी का भी आंसर गलत नहीं हो सकता, तो आपके लिए फिर ये गोल्डन रूल है, बिकॉज आफ्टर सीइंग व्हाट हाउ यू आर रिस्पॉन्डिंग, आपको तीनों इवेंट्स निकालने हैं क्वेश्चन के अंदर. यू हैव टू डिटरमिन ऑल द थ्री इवेंट्स. ओके, देन यू हैव टू प्रोसीड फर्दर. तो उस बेसिस पे अब सबका आंसर ठीक हो गया है. Rajni is right now. Rajni was earlier also right. Swaroop, you are right. Tanu, you are right. Priyanshi. So in this particular question, can we say if Priyanshi, I will not say this your question because others will get confused. But if you want me to tell the answer, that would have been yes, that would be the answer which you have told me. I will not repeat your question because others will get confused. But you are right in what you have concluded. And time of supply under reverse charge is 12th May. So Rihanna is right, Soumya is right. Now this question is clear to you. This concept should also be clear to you. Come to the next question. May 4 is the date on which the supplier invoices goods on reverse charge basis to Pillar and Company. अब आपका recipient change हो गया, bridge से Pillar पे आ गए अब हम. तो अब Pillar and Company को invoice कब issue हुई है, 4th May को. And the goods have been received by Pillar and Company because इस बार क्या हुआ, goods थोड़े से रास्ते में अटक गए कहीं और उस वजह से goods late receive हुए. Goods have been stuck in transit and that is why the goods have been received by a delay and they have been received on June 12. Payment made for the goods. Now date of making payment for the goods is July 3. Now we have to determine the time of supply. In fact, एक अच्छा काम हमने ये किया कि हमने पिछले क्वेश्चन में ही May 4 के लिए जो 31 डेज हैं वो हमने कंप्यूट कर लिए थे. फॉर योर ईज आई विल पुट इट हियर सो दैट यू गेट द कॉन्सेप्ट. अब तो सबका आंसर एकदम सही आना चाहिए because half of the exercise we had done in the earlier question itself. Few students who are writing July 3 still, they have not computed the 31 days from the invoice, but that you have to compute, otherwise you will make mistake. Now let's start the answers. So Prem is saying 4 June, Miss P, Mohammed Farhan, Ishan, Shalini, Soumya, Almas, then Priyanshi and Vemuri, Mamidi Seti, Tanu, Meera, Rajveer, check your answer again. And Astha, you're right. Mansa. Then we have Farhan, Prakash, Swaroop, Pavan Swaroop. Okay, you're right. Shalini, Soumya, Ritika, Banipreet, Ananya, Rehana, Harsh. Okay, Anubhav is, you all are right. Anubhav is saying, can you show me computation once again? Okay, I will show you computation once again. Milan, Rajveer, all of you are right now. So Rajni, you have to once again see the answer. Divya and Rajni, Pavan, and Pavan is right. Now see the computation. On May 4, we know that 31 days from the date of issue of invoice, date of issuance has to be excluded. So May 4 we have excluded. In the month of May, how many days are left? 4 days we have excluded. Fourth day also we excluded. So 4 days have been excluded. How many days are left in month of May? 27, because May is a month of 31 days. Now we have to make the total number of days as 31, because this date we have to take 31st day we have to take. So this automatically gives us that the 4 days we have to take in June also. That is why June 4 is the 31st day of the date of issuance of invoice. 31st day from the date of issuance of invoice will be June 4. I hope it clears your doubt, Anubhav. Please tell me. Okay, fine. This is a good question, but we will take it now in the quiz directly, because we have done practice of the questions. In fact, I had take okay. Or what we can do, we can practice one such question, because I had included 3 such questions. It's already 4:40. I want to conduct the quiz also. We'll take just this question. After that, we'll move to the next concept. So in this question, May 4 is the date on which the supplier has issued the invoice. May 12 is the date on which the goods have been received, and May 30th is the date. Now, goods have been received by the recipient. May 30th is the date on which the check has been made by the recipient, and payment has been recorded in the books of accounts on May 30th by the recipient. On 31st May, payment is debited from the bank account of the recipient. Why I'm kind of giving you hint also, because so that you don't make mistake and you understand the concept. These are the 2 dates which are given from the point of view of the supplier, that payment is credited in the bank account of the supplier on June 1 and payment is recorded in the books of accounts on June 2. So quickly tell me the correct answer. Now this is the date of invoice. Now this, when May 4 is the date of invoice, now half of the computation is done, or half work is done. Now let me see the answer. And I will tell you the main concept involved in this question, so that you don't make mistake in other questions. Mami Seti is asking the link. I will give you the link. Once again, I am putting the link in the chat box. Okay, now let us see the answers. So the answer to this particular question is right for Almas, you're right. Priyanshi, Miss P, Ishan, Prem, then Mamidi Seti, Prakash, Mohammed Farhan, Mansa, then Vemuri, Tanu, Astha, Soumya, Harsh, Soumya again, then Shalini, Pavan. Pavan, you have to see your answer. Ritika, and Milan also has to see his answer. All others are right. So what is the point which is there in this question? This question says that this is the date of invoice. Now, date of invoice is May 4. That means 31st day will be June 4. We have seen in previous 2 questions, this is the date of 31st day from the date of invoice. Date of receipt of goods is May 12. What is the date of payment? Date of payment will be, we have to see date of payment from whose side? From supplier side or from the recipient side? Tell me quickly in the chat box, from whose side you will see the date of payment, date of making payment. Good. All of you are writing it correctly. And many of you have given the answer also. That is 30th May. So these are the 2 events which are relevant for us. May 30th and May 31st. These two events are from the point of view of the supplier. Rolls and Company is recording the book in its books. Rolls and Company's bank account is being credited. So these two events are not at all relevant for us under reverse charge. If you appreciate this point, then your concerns, your doubts in this reverse charge provisions are gone. You will always attempt the question correctly. आपको रिसिपिएंट की साइड से ही अपना टाइम ऑफ पेमेंट का डेट देखनी है, इसीलिए जो सप्लायर की इन्फॉर्मेशन है उसे देखना ही नहीं, आपको टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई के क्वेश्चंस में कंफ्यूज करने के लिए बहुत सारी एक्स्ट्रा इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलेगी और आपको वो उसी तरीके से कवर करनी है. इनफैक्ट मेरे पास एक क्वेरी आई है अभी, व्हाट इफ पार्शियल पेमेंट इज मेड. रेखा इज आस्किंग. रेखा, योर क्वेश्चन इज वेरी वैलिड. In case of the forward charge, in last session we had covered this point, that to the extent the supply has been, in fact we had other questions also for practice, we'll be covering it afterwards. I will give it to you for the assignment, and in the next class we'll see the answers to it. So before that, the partial payment, I have not taken any example for the partial payment, but what is the point is that if we had made the partial payment in case of the time of supply under reverse charge, then time of supply has to be computed differently, because we have to compute the time of supply to the extent the invoice covers the supply of goods or your payment covers the supply of goods. जितनी amount की payment हुई है उतने ही अमाउंट का आप टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई निकालोगे, या जितने अमाउंट की इनवॉइस इशू हुई है उतने ही अमाउंट का टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई आप निकालोगे. Date of issuance of yes, Priyanshi, you're right. Date of issuance of check is not relevant. Soumya is saying date of debit in the bank account or date. Yes, Soumya, you're right. From the point of view of the recipient, you are absolutely right in telling what you are explaining. So if partial payment or partial invoicing is there, we have to determine the time of supply till the point the payment, or to the extent the invoice covers the supply of goods or the payment covers the supply of goods. If invoice has been, suppose the supply cover is of value 1 lakh, either under forward charge or under reverse charge, and invoice has been issued for 40,000 in one go, and balance invoice is for 60,000, then we will determine the time of supply for 40,000 in first place and then for 60,000. Another example, if we have a payment of 40,000 in first place and then balance payment of 60,000 has been made. If it is a time of supply under reverse charge, then we have to determine time of supply for 40,000 months and then for 60,000 separately. Separate time of supply will be determined. Okay, so that clears your doubt, I suppose, Rekha. Now we are moving to the next concept, time of supply of vouchers. Quickly, we'll cover this concepts. After that, I will take the quiz. Whatever questions have been left, I will give you an assignment, and in day after tomorrow, we are having another class, then we will discuss it. Now, time of supply of vouchers. If invoice issued partially but payment made in full. Okay, invoice issued partly but payment made in full. Astha, I'm telling you this for your only because others will might get confused under forward charge and reverse charge. We have to take an example for this. If invoice is issued partially but payment is made in full in case of the reverse charge, then we'll take the entire advance amount which is received and that will become liable to tax. Time of supply will be date of receipt of advance. But if it is a case of the forward charge, then only to the extent invoice has been issued will be your time of supply. Okay, let's take this query for everyone so that everyone is benefited. Asa is asking one query that suppose invoice has been issued for 40,000 in our example which we had taken, but the consideration which has been received is full 1 lakh rupees. Then if it is a forward charge case, in forward charge we know we blindly see the date of invoice. So invoice is only for 40,000. So we will take time of supply only for 40,000 because forward charge में हमें date of receipt of payment नहीं दिखती है. Normal case की बात हम कर रहे हैं forward charge में. But if it is a case of reverse charge, then reverse charge payment is equally important. Reverse charge के case में if 40,000 is the invoice amount and 1 lakh is the date of receipt of payment, then date of making payment, date of making the payment, if entire 1 lakh has been paid, then the time of supply will be determined for entire 1 lakh rupees because payment is important in case of the reverse charge. Hope that answers your query, Asta. Time of supply of vouchers. Now, what is a voucher? First of all, आप कभी पिज्जा शॉप पे जाते हैं, आपको पिज्जा ओनर से आप you want to give a gift to some of your employees who are performing well in the organization. So what you can do at that point of time, आपने पिज्जा शॉप से एक वाउचर खरीदा 2000 रुपीज का, और अपने इंप्लॉइज को आपने 2000 रुपीज कैश देने की जगह वो वाउचर दे दिया, तो आपके इंप्लॉइज क्या कर सकते हैं, पिज्जा शॉप में जाकर वो वाउचर दिखा के 2000 रुपीज का पिज्जा कंज्यूम कर सकते हैं. So voucher means, or I'm giving an example that if you want to reward your employees for their good performance, then what we can, this is one of the examples that I had gone to a pizza shop. I bought a voucher for rupees 2000, and my employee can take that voucher to that pizza shop, and that he can reimburse, or he can get a pizza worth rupees 2000, or he can consume pizza for an amount of rupees 2000. So that becomes a consideration. So instead of consideration, he can show his voucher. Another example is you went to a shop. For example, Shoppers Stop is there, Pantaloons are there, Reliance Trends is there. So many outlets for clothes and other accessories are there. You went to that particular outlet and you purchased a voucher worth rupees 2000. You want to gift a friend on its marriage this voucher. So you don't want to gift him in the form of money, and you want him to purchase something for him. So, but because you don't know his choice, you got this voucher purchased from that particular outlet, and you gave that voucher to that particular friend. This is the definition. And instead of consideration, that friend will give the voucher to that particular outlet and he can purchase anything. This is called voucher. So what is a voucher? It is an instrument where there is an obligation to accept it as consideration or part consideration, because there is a possibility that when you are purchasing clothes, the friend might end up buying clothes worth rupees 5000. So for only 2000 he can give this voucher, the rest 3000 he has to pay in cash. So this voucher can be used as a consideration, and that shop, that outlet, has an obligation to accept it as a consideration for supply of goods or services, or both, where the goods or services or both to be supplied or identities of their potential suppliers are either indicated on the instrument itself or in the related document. So उस document में लिखा होगा कि हाँ आपको इसके बदले क्या मिलेगा, उसकी identity अगर identified है, then that would be mentioned, including the terms and conditions of this document. This is what is voucher is. Now there are two provisions which are applicable. I hope all of you will be with me for the GST quiz. I have sent the link again. So just in few minutes, we'll be starting the quiz. Please, all of you, quickly join the quiz link. We'll be starting the quiz after this concept. So if the pizza voucher covers the supply that pizza voucher covers, if that supply is identifiable at that particular point of time when voucher is being purchased, then the time of supply will be date of issue of the voucher. So supply is identifiable. Okay, when you put the link, it's not asking. Okay. So when the supply is identifiable at the time of issue of the voucher, then the date of issue of voucher itself becomes the time of supply. But where the supply is not identifiable, so the voucher simply says कि आप कुछ भी कपड़े खरीद, कुछ भी products खरीद सकते हो. It says any product. Here it says pizza. Here it says products, any of the products. Then the date of redemption of the voucher will be your time of supply. Now, in this point regarding vouchers, just a disclaimer I want to tell you, because any of you who might be going to office also, some of you, or who are practically who know the things, voucher provisions have been excluded, or they have been deleted from the GST law by Finance Act 2025. But the point is, for September 2025, these provisions are applicable because we are covering Finance Number 2 Act 2024 when these provisions are there. Because voucher provisions actually were controversial. The levy of GST, or whether it is a supply, not even levy, whether the voucher is a supply per se or not, that was under controversy right from the beginning. So when it was clarified, then in Finance Act 2025 has removed vouchers, but this is yet to become effective. Just for the knowledge sake, I am telling you, because some of you might feel that we are studying the old provision, but that is not the case. That is what is relevant for your examination. So that is what you are being taught in this class. Now, I'm taking an example quickly. Acme Sales Limited sells food coupons to a company. Company give these coupons to its employees as per the agreed perquisites. Coupons can be redeemed for purchase of any item of food in the outlets that are part of the program. Now, since you can redeem them for quiz will take half an hour, Dhanush, and now around half an hour will be taken. Very few questions are there in quiz, but I want all of you to appear so that you can assess your concepts. Yes, so Astha is right. In fact, all of you are giving me the correct answer. I didn't ask for the answer, but still you are providing. I'm happy that you have understood the concept, date of redemption. Because any food item, you know, what is the concept behind this redemption point? Why we are taking date of redemption? Because whenever we have to tax any supply, we should know the rate of tax which is applicable on a particular supply. Now, when I say you can purchase any food item, now all food items will have different rate of tax. Today, when I am issuing the voucher, I said you can purchase any food item. I do not know which food item you will purchase. I need a rate also for today. But since you have not redeemed it, so I cannot ascertain that rate today. And that is why this time of supply has been postponed till the date of redemption in this case. This question has been answered correctly. Nanush, you are right. You have a class at 6. So I'm starting straight away. I am starting the quiz. Don't worry. FCM, RCM, partly payment separate. Yes. Prakash, you are right. In FCM, RCM, if part payment is there, separate provisions will apply because of the time of this, because of the date of payment relevance. So this is the point mnemonics for the time of supply of vouchers. If supply is identifiable, then the date of issue of voucher. For this, we have supply identified, date of issue of voucher. CD is the acronym or mnemonics, or other ways, simple ideas don't impress. That is supply identifiable, date of issuance of voucher. Another mnemonics for supply unidentifiable. Supply unidentifiable, redemption of voucher, date. That is third. So another way is success usually demands respect. You will get these PPTs, don't worry. So supply unidentifiable, date of redemption of voucher will be your time of supply. So now with this, we are starting the quiz. All of you would have joined in the quiz. Okay. Soumya, you're right that I will be, in case I feel that we are exceeding too much the time, we will restrict the questions of the quiz also. Don't worry, after 5:25, 5:30, I will not stretch at any cost. Please focus on the concept which we are studying right now. Let me once again go through this mnemonics. In case of the time of supply of vouchers, which is identifiable at the time of supply, at the time when you are issuing the vouchers, then the issue will be the time, date of issue will be time of supply. And this is the mnemonics which I have given for vouchers. Then second is when the supply is unidentifiable, then date of redemption will be the time of supply. Short form is SURD, third, or success usually demands respect. Whichever way you feel, you can memorize it. Okay. So in residual cases, we can do it in next class, but let us go to the quiz. And we have 40 participants in the quiz. Okay, Prakash, I will explain it at the end. Don't worry. You can stay in the class. Others can leave so that their time doesn't get asked. So this is the quiz code 142524, and I'm straight away starting the quiz. So the question is there on your screen. Please, students, let me know that it's there on your device or also or not. Time is of 2 minutes. Messrs. Crafties Private Limited, a registered manufacturer, made taxable supply of goods to customer Messrs. Happy Hands Retail Bank on 3rd March, and advance is recorded on 3rd in the books on 3rd March. This is for Craft Ease, that is the supplier. Balance payment is received on 11th March. Time of supply of advance payment and balance payment is dash and dash. You have 4 options with you. Okay, Meera, you are not able to join. You can give the answer to me here also. That is not an issue. Don't worry. And in the meantime, I request other students to go through the answer, go through the question and answer it. So we have 40 seconds left for this particular question. And I want all of you to answer this question. Answer is there on your screen. You can see the answer. Mute. Sorry, I was on the mute. Okay. So, Mira, you can give the answers to me directly. Let us see. So, the time has ended for the first question. Let us see the leaderboard and then we'll see the right answer. So, on the leaderboard, we have on the top Vishal, then Varsha Chaudhary, Prem Kumar, Almas Banu, Tej Prakash Bhai Chauhan, Soumya, Banipreet, Nisha Kaur. You're right, Mira. Banipreet Kaur, Nisha Kumari Singh, Rajendra, Milan Ali, Ishan Bisht. After that, we do not have the correct answer. So 11 participants have answered this question correctly. That is 26% average, or 26% of the students have answered this question correctly. Parth has raised the hand. Okay, now you have lower down your hand. So congratulations to those who are there on the leaderboard, and let us go through this particular question. Now in this question, if you see, I will be a bit quick in the GST quiz because I want you to be, fully relaxed for the next class. So Messrs Craft is a supplier, and it has supplied the goods to Messrs Happy Hands Retail. Now the date of receipt of the purchase order is 1st March. In fact, some of you are answering, I suppose, right now also some students have answered. Overall, how many students have answered this particular question is 10 students have answered, given option A, that is incorrect. Then option B, 5th March is given by 13 students. Then 3rd and 4th are given by 2 students each. So let us see what was the correct answer. So date of removal of goods from Crafty's factory is 5th March. Now this is a question of time of supply of goods under forward charge. And under forward charge, we know that what is relevant is very simple. We don't have to see so much information which is given to you. And in fact, this question has addressed one more point which everybody was asking, that suppose the advance payment is given to us in case of the time of supply of under forward charge. In fact, Prakash, you were also asking this query right just before the quiz, that then what will happen? So all of you have answered this correctly. These 13 students have answered it correctly, that the advance payment of 40%, which has been made, and afterwards 60% has been made after the issuance of invoice. In both these cases, the time of supply is not going to change. Which has been received, payment, not invoice. If payment has been received in part in case of time of supply or under forward charge, then time of supply will remain same. That will be date of invoice or date of issuance of last date for issuance of invoice. आरसीएम है तो आंसर चेंज हो जाएगा. आरसीएम में आपको पता है कि आप 40% के लिए अलग निकालोगे और 60% के लिए अलग निकालोगे. आंसर चेंज हो भी सकता है, नहीं भी हो सकता. उस केस में भी देयर कैन बी डिफरेंस इन आंसर्स, बट इन केस ऑफ आरसीएम यू हैव टू सेपरेटली कंप्यूट. बट इन केस ऑफ द फॉरवर्ड चार्ज आप इसको कंप्यूट करके देखोगे, सेम आंसर आएगा. वाई सेम आंसर विल बी देयर? बिकॉज योर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई इज इनवॉइस और लास्ट डेट फॉर इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस. तो पेमेंट से आपको कुछ करना ही नहीं है. सो इट विल नॉट अफेक्ट योर टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. आपको तो सिर्फ दो ही इवेंट्स के अराउंड सर्कुलेट होना है, या दो ही इवेंट्स को ही देखना है. दैट इज डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस और लास्ट डेट फॉर इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस. सो लास्ट डेट ऑफ फॉर इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस वाज 5th March. एक्चुअल डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस एडवांस पेमेंट ऑफ 40% ऑफ द इनवॉइस. हाँ, इसमें 40% एडवांस पेमेंट रिसीव हुई थी. तो actual date of invoice is not relevant when the date of removal of goods is before the actual date of invoice. Actual date of invoice is here 9th March. So 9th March is the actual invoice. 5th March is the last date for issuance of invoice. So you have to take earlier of the two. That will be 5th March, and that will be time of supply. In case of, yes, Kash, you are right. Separately you have to complete. Advance, tell me, in the 8th of August for supply of a consignment forms, the customer collects the consignment from the premises of Ram and Company and takes it to his warehouse on 7th of December and electronically transfers the payment on the same date, which is entered in the account on the next date, that is 8th December. So on 8th of December, the payment is transferred, the account, information is entered in the account, and on the preceding day, the amount would have been transferred. All of you have understood. Now, answer this question. 1 full minute you have four options uh, on the screen. You have to answer it correctly. 1 full minute you have. Read the question carefully. 36 seconds more, 30 seconds almost. Half a minute is there. When nothing is mentioned, we always take it as a normal case of time of supply or under forward charge. For reverse charge, it could be specifically mentioned. For exceptions, it could be specifically used. This much point I think I should tell you. So 36 students have given the answer. Last few seconds, some more of you want to answer, and time is up. Okay, on the leaderboard, we have Vishal again on the top, Almas, and let us see the leaderboard once again. So Almas, Prem, Bunnypreet, Tej Prakash, Soumya, Rajendra, Varsha, Ishan, Milan, Booma, Rajveer. So Rajveer, one question is right. So for these students, one question is right. Tushar, Ritika, Smriti, Palak, Dhanush, DN Dhanush, Astha, Mohammad Farhan, Mahalakshmi, Janvi, Harshpreet Kaur, Shalini Arun, Nisha Kumari Singh, Mansa Hiremat, Tanu, Divya, Rihana. So 29 students are there on the leaderboard, and that is a very good achievement. And 41% students have answered this question correctly. So that is good. That at least you know the concept. Okay, but it shows 28. Maybe okay. This is actually, I suppose, the it is the average of both the questions. So till now, 41% students are is the average of the correctness. But in this question, most of you have answered correctly. That is 28 students have answered it correctly, and only 8 have given the wrong answer. So an order has been placed on 8th of June, 8th of August. That is not the relevant date for us when you are placing the order. That is not important. Ram and Company gets the consignment ready and it informs the customer and issues the invoice on 2nd December. So date of issue of invoice is 2nd December. Then customer collects the consignment from the premises of Ram and Company. Now this is a case of movement of goods by the recipient and takes it to his warehouse on 7th of December. So the goods have been removed from the premises of the Ram and Company and they have reached the premises of they have reached the premises of the recipient on 7th of December. Payment has been made on the same date, that is 7th of December. Payment has been made electronically. It has been recorded in the books of accounts on the next day, that is 8th of December. But payment date is not relevant for us. In fact, the date on which the goods are being removed is goods when the goods are being removed, they are being removed on 7th of December because here the it's an ex factory sales. The customer is taking the uh, delivery of goods on, or it is removing the goods from the premises of the seller and taking it to its own premises. So that is why in this case the date will be 7th of December. Now what is this noise? No. So that is why this date has become 7th of December is the date of removal of the goods, or the date on, not the date of removal, it should be the date on which the invoice, last date on which the invoice should have been issued. Yes, because the goods are being taken by the customer on this particular date. So out of 2nd and 7th December, 2nd December is the correct answer because it is the earliest date. Hope that clarifies this point to all of you. Let me see. 18th August if goods dispatched on the same. Yes, if goods had been dispatched on 18th of August, then because it precedes 2nd December, that would have been the date of time of supply. You are right, Meera. Then we have otherwise 2nd December. You're right. It is FCM or FCM. Priyanshi is saying, how will we know that it is FCM or RCM? In case of RCM, it would be specifically mentioned, Priyanshi. Otherwise, every case will be a normal case of supply of goods under forward charge. Yes, Anubhav. Had it been, okay, as per your question, then it would have been the yes, the answer which you are telling. Okay, Varsha, now you're clear. So let's move to the next question. The next question is there on your screen. Bajrang Private Limited agreed to supply goods to Bhagirathi Private Limited for 1,50,000 on 23rd June. Agreement has happened on 23rd June. Next day, it removed the goods from its factory and issued the invoice on 25th June. It removed the goods next day and issued the invoice on 25th June. So there are four options which are available on your screen. You have to pick the correct answer. You are right, Meera. Your answer is right. Prakash, you are also right. So we have 51 participants and 34 have answered. But this is a very simple question. All 51 should answer, I suppose. Rajveer, you are also right. Oh, you marked the incorrect answer by mistake. Anyhow, you know the concept. So this leaderboard is for our satisfaction, but what is more important is that we should know the concept and that you know. We need to see, Varsha, the facts of the case. Goods are removed from the factory on next day and invoice is issued on 25th of June. Tanu, you are also right. So last 30 seconds left for this question. Those of you who have not answered, please answer it. 36 students have marked the answer. We have 51 participants. So still we have 15 more to answer. 15 participants are left who have not answered. So you should also answer the question. Last few seconds for this question. And your time ends now. So on the leaderboard now we have Almas on the top and then Prem Kumar. And then let's see the leaderboard. So Almas Banu on the top, then Prem Kumar, Bunnypreet Kaur, Soumya, Tej Prakash Bhai Chauhan, Rajendra, then Milan Ali, Booma, Tushar, Smriti, Palak Sharma, Astha Sethi, Vishal, Hiremat, then Mahalakshmi earlier. So that makes the time of next day. Always say, even if you mark the answer on your screen, 3rd June and received and issued the invoice on 20 limited on 15th July options and then Vasha, you also I am saying this. Yes, Prakash. Or 54 participations as I promised me to conduct. So Bunnypreet, Rajesh, then Ahmad Farhan, Nisha Kumari, Shalini. And why I am stressing so much on time at the end, it's relevant for us, or we have put the invoice on 25th June. If you word, okay, Varsha has now corrected invoice on 25th. Information regarding the payment 15th July. But in July, in any way, information. चर्चा का विषय webinar which is going to be PM. This will definitely insight very apprising you of the object regarding this question box. And the answer already told me 23rd June these two 24 glitches, ma'am. Raj. So that is good. Link if you join through Uma. So let us start with a 3-minute question. See the help of the information below on reverse charge basis to Parminder Constructions Limited. May 30th is the date on which Parminder is the date. In this question, before I read the complete question, जो information आ रही है वो उस date को pertain करती है. तो date के बाद जो information आ रही है वो करने से पहले बता रही हूँ. You have full 2 minutes left. Enterprises issues invoice for goods taxable on from the bank account of Parminder Construction. Last information is June 2. Payment is given to you. You have 1.5 minutes. Very carefully. Meera, you are also right in this question correctly. That means you have definitely two. Anubhav, particular question. Have Bunnypreet Kaur, and in fact, these 6 participants, Tej Prakash Bhai and Rajendra. It takes into consideration the time with Ritika, Rihana, Jan, Varsha, Vishal, Mansa, Divya, they are on the leaderboard and 12 students have answered it wrongly. Correct answer is given is the date of issuance of invoice under invoice. Now we have to take date. Okay, Ishan is saying he mistook that box. How, what will be the also right? Prem, Ishan, 29th May, sorry. So 11 days in the month of May and 11 days in the month of June. That will make it 31. So 31st day from May 11 will be 11th of June. We have excluded May 11 in this particular case. Date of 31st day, so one date is June 11. Second is May 12, that is the date of receipt of goods by the recipient. So May 12 is the second date. Now, Parminder has issued the check and it has recorded the payment in its books on May 30th and its account is debited on May 31st. So these are the two dates which are relevant for us, and earlier of these two is May 30. So May 30, May 12 and June 11. Out of these two dates, which one is earlier is May 12. Last two dates which are given to you, June 1 and June 2. Yes, all of you are right. Tanu, Rajveer, Almas, Prakash, all of you have given the right answer. So June 1 and June 2 are not relevant because they pertain to the supplier. And what we had learned in our class, recipient's point of view has to be seen. No, the supplier's perspective is to be ignored. So date of receiving the payment is not relevant. Date of making the payment is relevant. That is why we are ignoring June 1 and June 2. With this, we come to the last question for the day, and it is there on your screen. Meal coupons are sold by a company on 9th August for being distributed to the employees of said company. The coupons are valid till 31st December and can be used against the purchase of any of the food items. The employees use them in various stores. Now, this meal coupon date, issue date is 9th of August. Employees can use them in various stores for purchase of various edible items on different dates till the date of validity. What is the date of supply of the coupons if employee Mr. Ghansham redeems it on 15th of November? Four dates are given on your screen. You have to mark the correct answer. So 24 students have already marked the correct answer out of 59 students who have joined the quiz. Meera, your answer is correct. Rajvi, your answer is also correct. Anubhav, I think, is getting confused with goods sent on sales or return basis. I suppose, Anubhav. Prakash also has to see his answer. Date of issue of meal coupons is 9th August, and you can use these coupons for purchasing various edible items on different dates till the date of validity. Tanu, your answer is right. Last 20 seconds left. Prem, you are also right. Okay, now you got the, yeah, you got the, Prakash, again you have to see your answer. Okay, so last few seconds for this particular question, last question of the day, which will decide GST Titan of the day. Okay, so the leaderboard, and Prem Kumar is the GST Titan of the day. So congratulations, Prem, for being on the top of the leaderboard today and for understanding all the concepts. But those who are after the concept, after these, they should also not get disheartened. So those who are on the lower side of the leaderboard, at least you understood the concept. One student is asking, can someone ask in Zoom, what if we don't redeem the voucher? Okay, some student has put it in the WhatsApp group that if we don't redeem the voucher, will it be a supply? Actually, with student, your name is not visible here. But point is that vouchers, if it is not redeemed, then it will not be a supply per se, because you have not actually spent, you have not used it as a consideration for purchasing any item. Now it is very clear after this amendment that vouchers are not at all supply. Now this confusion will not arise. But before this amendment, for your particular disposal, what the information relevant is that if the voucher is not redeemed, then that means it is not applied as a consideration against any purchase. You have not purchased anything, because what is taxable is the supply which you are making against this voucher. So then this redeemed voucher, if you are not redeeming it, then it will not become a supply. So we have Prem on the top, Almas, Rajendra, Bhuma, Banipreet Kaur, Smriti, Astha, Soumya, Tej Prakash Bhai. Then we have Palak, Ritika, Harshpreet Kaur, Milan Ali, Tushar, Rajveer, Shalini, Ishan, Rihana, Janvi, Varsha, Dhanush, Farhan, Sunil, then Priyanshi, Tanu, Mahalakshmi, Vishal, Viplav, Nisha Kumari, Anubhav, Pallavi, Mansa, Divya, Dhanush, Neeru, Nitin, Yatish, Shubhanshi, and we have 38 students on the leaderboard. And congratulations to all those who are there on the leaderboard. And congratulations to all of you for participating in this quiz. That itself makes you a winner because you have at least tried to attempt the answers. So first of all, I will tell you this question, then I will see the comments which are there in the chat box, and then we will see that video which is specially designed for your benefit. I told you the webinar on 25th of April, forthcoming Friday, the coming Friday. Don't miss that webinar. So meal coupons which have been sold to a company on 9th of August, they are distributed to the employees of the said company. Now coupons are valid till 31st of December. Here the main point is that the coupons have been, the vouchers or coupons, whatever it is, it's not mentioned that what they can be used for. The supply is not identifiable at the time of issue of the vouchers, because we have said that the vouchers can be used, or the coupons can be used for purchase of various edible items on till the date of validity. So different edible items will have different rates, and that is why the date of redemption of the vouchers will be your time of supply. And the correct answer is, date of redemption is 15 November, so correct answer is 15th of November. So with this, we come to an end of the quiz, and I will straight away move to the last slide because we will be, I had actually a lot to cover today, but don't worry, we'll be covering it in the next class. So let us see. Yes, some of the comments or some of the questions which are there. Okay, Prakash, you had wrongly answered the question. That is not an issue. Memory was also not right. If this was particular meal, if this was for a particular edible item, then we would have taken date of issue. You are right, Meera. So WhatsApp link we'll be sending, Sharad, if we can share the WhatsApp link. Then अच्छा, तनु is saying question ठीक से नहीं पढ़ा इसलिए wrong हो गया. कोई बात नहीं तनु, that is fine, ऐसा हो जाता है. Milan, okay, thank you Milan. So in FCM, Prakash, you're saying in FCM we consider entire amount? Yes. And even if partly paid. So payment is not relevant in FCM. That is the main point. Payment अगर parts में हो रही है forward charge के case में, तो वो हमें, that will not affect our answer. That is the main point. So Prakash, it answers your question hopefully. 5:32 हो गए हैं, बहुत सारे बच्चों ने लिखना शुरू कर दिया है. 5:32 है. So I'm not dragging this class anymore. Central and state boards like prescribes courses and curriculum for PG holds examination. So this central and state education boards, there is a specific actually clarification which is there in the notification that we have to see, Astha, for that. I will let you know that. WhatsApp link has been put in the chat box again. You should join it. Voucher coupons are purchased for someone else. That does not matter at all. Date of issue of the voucher is relevant and the date of redemption of the voucher is relevant in case it is the supply is unidentifiable. I am purchasing voucher. I'm purchasing it for someone else. I'm giving it on as a gift to someone else. When it is used for as consideration by that particular person, it is that voucher time of supply will be determined for that particular voucher. Provision of, okay, Prakash is saying that 1000 provision. I will explain. I have doubt in this. Okay. Varsha is saying quiz was very useful. Going concern concept exemption. As for all the doubts, I will be clearing these. If you have any doubts in exemption, then please let me know. But that will be able to take in the next class. Today, already students have started telling the time is already too much. Anubhav is asking for the video again. Anubhav, we will be playing the video. Okay, Sunil. Thank you, Sunil. So thank you so much. Now I'm playing the video. Prakash, your doubt, let me clarify once. This 1000 rupees concept I will explain the next class. Along with services, I will explain the goods also. Don't worry. Today we have exceeded time too much. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Soumya. Oh, yes, Tanu, thanks for reminding. It's 5:35. We are playing the video because So I hope you all will be benefited with this webinar, and mark the date 25th April, 3 to 4 p.m. Join the session and be benefited from this session. Okay. Okay. So with this, we come to an end of this session so that you can relax and then you can join your next class. Any feedback you have for this class, anything you want me to do in the next class and change some improvement, any suggestion from your side, that is most welcome. You can share it in the WhatsApp group also. If you feel anything is to be changed, or if you find any of the ways which can be continued, that also you should mention in the group. So thank you, Memory. Thank you, Tanu. Thank you, Anubhav. Uh, Priyanshi, you should put this point in WhatsApp group. And thank you, MA. Thank you. So we come to an end of this class. Thank you, Almas, Rajveer. Yes.